And we're on the air. Uh, Greetings, sir. Greetings. I'm back here with the man, the myth, and the legend. Not or the legend is the legend. No radio. What's
What up?
going on,
What
my
up?
good man?
What's going on, brother?
So, how's the tech world been treating you, man? I haven't heard from you too much.
The tech world,
We had some dealings with some music stuff, but not tech though.
it's extra boring right now, man.
Is it?
Yeah, dog.
Uh, I don't know. But for me personally, I mean, it's been pretty interesting on the sales side. But you know what? When I was looking for articles to talk about, Engadget and The Verge did seem a little dry.
See?
It did seem a little dry. There was a little bit of a dryness. There wasn't really anything exciting going on too much.
There wasn't no
So
watt out there, huh? Wasn't no watt.
hey, we try to be a family friendly show, sir. So are you talking about wattage? Talking about electricity?
I mean, I'm just saying, as far as I'm concerned right now, the tech world is it's about as hot as the original Apple charger. You know what I'm saying? Out in these streets.
Oh,
Might as well be five
you
watts, dog.
you talking about the 30-pin connector?
I'm talking about that 5 watt brick. That's
Oh
how exciting it
God.
is.
Well,
Ugh.
hey, you know what? Speaking of chargers, glad you said something, sir. Hey, we did an article, a couple of articles back, and we did, posted some videos of talking about this. Would they do it? Would they not do it? There was a lot of speculation behind, hey, can will Apple finally grow up and be an actual cell phone and quit, dragging us along with this connector that can't do anything? And apparently, they came out with a statement. What
Hmm.
could it have been? Hold up. So, Apple says that they're going to finally support USB C. Finally. Now, forget about the fact that the EU pretty much twisted their arm on this one, but they're finally going to support it. What is your thought, sir?
Like it's not even satisfying anymore.
Really? You wanted them to stay different?
No, I said it's so late that it's like who cares anymore? You know,
Ooh,
that's like
oh
waiting on
no.
somebody to change, man, and they just like you're about to fall in your grave and die, and now they want to change.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean it's cool. It's cool, like I said, Apple is always for me. They've always been the almost perfect device. They're like they're like a better Pixel.
Hey, look, don't get me wrong. Hey, look, I want to officially come out and say something because I don't get a I don't have an iPhone that I have a daily driver. Okay, so all my phones are Android. But whenever I have customers in the cars, a couple of them might sit up front and they're looking at their phones. The iPhone screen. I don't know what they do to their screens. I don't know what they do with their colors, but they look totally different than what my phone look like. I can tell you that. I don't know
Explain.
what they I don't know what they do, but whatever it is they doing, it makes them things look way better. I'll come out and say that.
Greetings and salutation.
Oh
Uh,
look,
uh,
Brandon, are you back officially?
Yes.
Oh man, matter of fact, on a side tangent, before I'm gonna ask you about this one, Brandon, because you probably saw it on the screen. But was there N41 in Yosemite Park?
Oh, I did not even go to be honest with you,
Oh,
but I will tell you this. In parts of my trip, my phone was actually roaming on AT&T. And of course, I was getting 2G speeds.
Really?
Oh,
It literally said AT&T LTE.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I would.
and
Dang, that's crazy.
man.
yeah,
Apple has perfect timing, I tell you. So I'm sorry to break into this, but we're
Uh
talking
huh.
about Apple, and here they go, making me angry immediately in the middle of us talking about it.
Oh no! What? Oh, God! What? No, no. Put it on the screen. I know something. You must have saw something. Put it on the screen.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm just gonna tell you what it is because he really can't show it.
Uh.
Earlier today, a gentleman in the community mentioned to me that Apple has a glitch as of late that locking the screen while in Google Meets kicks you out of the meeting.
What?
And it literally just done it to me.
Oh my God!
but
Now,
you know
I,
what? But you know what? But sometimes it does that because
I'm
it does that because it does that sometimes the phone calls too.
that
what? You be on the phone call and it kicks you off the phone call?
you
Yes.
lock this phone. It wasn't doing this before, but I might have. So here's the deal. Earlier today, I was using Google Meet with the screen off, but
Uh huh.
I had my Bluetooth in, and I'm just wondering if it only does it if you're not using Bluetooth. Huh.
Are you wired? You're not
No,
wired
no,
connected,
I'm
are
raw
you?
dogging right now, dog. No wire, no headphones of any sort.
Oh man, so you're holding your phone to your head, or you're holding it out to your with arm's length.
No, it's just sitting there, and I tried to lock the screen and set it down and continue the conversation, and it immediately kicked me out of the meet.
Oh God.
So
That-
whoever forgot who it was that mentioned that to me earlier, but yeah, thanks for passing that to me.
Wow.
Apple, get on it once again.
That's
So-called
a
perfect.
program. That's programming.
Yeah,
But why would you even do it to phone calls? That's the question.
it's a glitch. Like, whatever. It's probably another way for them to squeeze out 1% more of battery.
What to terminate your connection? Is that are we that bad where you got to terminate connections to save battery life?
Well, I don't know if you know, but they're already trying to. They're trying to put what is it? Adaptive Wi-Fi,
Huh?
meaning that it's going to disconnect your Wi-Fi if it doesn't think you need it, and try to assume when you do need it. Yeah, Apple,
Oh
don't do that.
Lord.
Leave my.
No, don't do that.
Stop trying to run me. I'm supposed to control my phone, not my phone control me. Got time for this.
But you know what? There are certain times where I don't want my Wi-Fi to connect, and there are times where I do, right? So when I'm pulling up to my to my where I live at, my Wi-Fi comes through, it's coming through the window, and I drive past the window, and all of a sudden it wants to latch onto it. But then I might be in a spot where I'm too far, and it's still trying to hold on to that Wi-Fi signal, right?
Yeah,
So,
and you know what? It's fine if it grabs it, right? But the issue is it needs to be seamless.
right.
So your issue isn't that it tries to grab the Wi-Fi, it's that it doesn't do it seamlessly. Technically,
Mm,
you know.
yeah,
But
but
you know,
hey, look, my that's my thing is I could see why somebody might think that might be a good feature, but my thing is it needs to be like it needs to compare when you're home and you're like, let's say that you're doing some testing on your device, right? The device goes, "Hey, do you consider this good Wi-Fi signal?" And you be like, "Yes, yes." And you're walking around your house, you get a good idea about what your Wi-Fi signal look like for your home. But let's say that you're sitting in your truck or you're sitting in your car, and you intentionally want to be on cellular, but your Wi-Fi is negative 20 dB. You're like, I don't want to connect to Wi-Fi at that point. I'm in my truck. I don't, or I'm in my car.
you got negative.
Negative 20.
You got negative 20 dB. You're sitting on top of the router, sir.
Oh well.
You're riding that sucker like a pony if you get negative 20.
Oh, well, I'm just saying in general, like a weak
Maybe
signal, right? I
negative 50, maybe negative 50, negative 6.
negative 50.
Yeah, man.
So I'm just saying, like, if you have a weak signal, then your phone can say, hey, look, you know what? He says this is good, but this is not acceptable. Let's not connect to it just yet, right? Until the signal gets stronger, because that's what the phone sees all the time when I'm home. But just because you see my network, it shouldn't latch on. It shouldn't just try to latch onto it. I mean, I could see how that might be a thing, but
I mean, if to me, if it ain't broke, don't try to fix it.
well, I mean, we're in the land of we think better for you.
Man, that's the Apple way.
Same thing about this USB-C ports. Brandon, speak up, sir.
Yeah, Brandon, your opinion on the
How
USB
how,
get
how you
back?
feel? How you feel?
I don't care as long as my phone charges.
Hey, your phone might charge better, sir. And
Most
then
people
guess what?
probably don't know this because
And then
each year people are like, "Oh, my phone charges faster and faster each year as the new ones come out."
hey man, I'm just saying, man. Then on top of that, you might be
Man,
able
wait,
to,
wait, 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 wait,
transfer
wait.
data. You might be able to transfer data faster too.
Hey, Keon, they don't want to transfer it. They just want to keep getting phones at more stores. They never have to.
Exactly.
Oh, Jesus. Hate for them to lose that phone. They're screwed.
Oh gosh. Oh,
No,
go
but
ahead, Brandon. You about to say something?
what's up? And I know we were talking about it last week, but what's up with all the streaming people going up in prices?
The streaming services?
Yes, because Apple announced that their prices are going to go. Well, Apple Music went up by $1, and I think their family plan went up by $1 as well. And I think Spotify also went up too.
I
You
got
know
to
what? I got an answer for it. Maybe no radio's answer might be more true than mine, but I just but I think that the music industry and the TV or whatever, everybody's going up on their prices, so they're just filtering it down.
Well, the simplified answer to you guys is when in Rome, you do as the Romans do.
Romans do.
So if you want to compete with the cable companies, guess what? You become one. You keep raising your prices, just like everybody.
Dang.
But I felt Google. I felt Google made them feel comfortable to raise prices.
Well, you talking about when they were flirting around with it for the YouTube Premium?
Yes.
They were gonna
Hey,
do this anyway.
they were probably going to do it anyway, man.
You
I don't think there was anything that was going to stop them. It was just Google probably jumped out ahead of everybody.
just remember, Brandon, they don't make these decisions in like a 2-week period. They've been working on this decision. Any of them that's changing prices,
Well, I
they've
know
probably been talking about it for a year. They didn't just go, oh, Google did, let's go. Like, nah, they've been planning this out. Corporations don't move that fast. They just don't. That means if we're just now hearing about it, they were talking about it a year ago. They set forecasts for all their changes.
That's true.
No, they don't. They didn't
Hey,
just
look,
decide yesterday.
just like Verizon raising their rates again and cutting staff. Like
they knew it a year.
they've been thinking about that for a minute, man. But what was it? After they already had 2 bad quarters, they already turned. All of a sudden, they turn around talking about, well, we got to cut jobs. I
And you
think
got to
that they
realize
knew.
too, when they go to make a decision like that, they don't just do it. They have to consult with our legal department. They have to decide what can we get away with, what we cannot. We got to get all these different opinions. They got to get a forecast on what might be the effects of it. That stuff don't happen in mere weeks. That's 6, 7, 8 months back when they were already talking about this. They're going to lay off people. They already had to cross their T's and dot their I's and make sure they don't just do stuff. So.
Oh, hey, look. Speaking of, people getting laid off in mass drones. Here you go.
Hold on.
They need to lay some people off from the daggum FAA. That's what they need to be laying off from.
So Elon Musk owns Twitter now. Finally got it done.
Oh man. Oh, yo. bro.
Hey, look. Go ahead.
I'm just laughing, dog, because all I see on Twitter right now is everybody talking about how free they are to just say whatever, and then they're
Oh,
like, what do I say now?
oh God! Wait,
Like,
wait.
they've been crying about needing freedom, and now they don't have nothing to say.
Oh, whatever, man. You
But
didn't have
no,
nothing to
Ray,
say
you
in the
could
first
say,
place.
you could say more things on Twitter than you can on Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah, but here's the thing. After all that freedom, guess what? The employees about to get cut.
Just remember, people cry for stuff like this. They want it so bad, and then when they actually get it, they don't even utilize it. That's all I'm saying.
Well, it's the same thing with iPhone users.
It's just like, you talking that little sweet thing up about all the things you gonna do to it, and you get up in there and you ain't doing nothing with it. That's what these people been doing for the last 3 years.
You are a 1 minute man in the first place.
Yep. You have one statement you've been dying to say for 3 years, and you get it out, and now you got nothing else to say.
I don't have nothing to say. But no, so the tech world. If you consider Twitter tech, I do. I mean, look, it's a major social media.
I think it's the
A
worst
lot of
social
us.
media in existence. It's trash. The app is trash. Twitter if anything, Elon needs to fix Twitter. It's garbage.
I think the one
Interface
that
is trash.
But
I
here's the
think the
thing. Here's
one
the
that
thing. We all met through Twitter. So hey, look, I had to do this story because we all met through Twitter. Look, Twitter Spaces, man. Come on, of all places, Twitter Spaces.
Well, we
You know
laid
what I
that
mean?
off. We laid Twitter off last year, Keon. What you talking about?
Yeah, but hey, look, I'm
We
just
laid them
saying.
off.
Yes. we moved on to greener pastures.
It had nothing to do with freedom of speech. It was all about the app just don't work in the first place like it should.
Well, we couldn't do anything. We couldn't help on that one. I don't care about free speech. Make your app work.
Oh Lord.
That's all we wanted. Make your app work. But so now, we were talking about earlier, everybody getting laid off. Elon knew that he was going to start laying people off. He cut the three top people as soon as he walked in the door.
Yep.
Do you honestly think that he was sitting around going, man, you know what? You know what looked good around out here? 3 people losing their job. No, he walked in that door and was like, you 3 gone.
Edmund, he wants new vibes.
Oh, whatever. He ain't about to do nothing special. Look, the problem with Twitter is that Twitter needs to be more granular and more down to earth, and he's not going to bring that to it. If he does, he'll be the smartest person on the planet. Because I was talking to this lady who's in media in my car, and I said that I felt like Twitter could have been replacing a major replacement to, tech, not tech, but a major replacement to, what is it? I'm trying to figure out what it's called. What it's called. You know how? No, not MySpace, man. Not MySpace.
I had to say.
No,
I know
but
fire.
but you know how newspaper, are basically like laying people off and they're downsizing and stuff. Like Twitter could have became the local newspaper for everywhere, right?
Bro,
It's
it is
popular,
though. It's
but
going to.
it's
But guess what
not.
the problem's going to be? Every
Well,
other
hold up.
post is going to be some daggone political ad, probably.
Oh Lord.
And I'm just.
Did you guys know what a day in the life of a Twitter employee was? They just
What?
chilled and did nothing.
Oh
They
well,
legit,
We
bro,
can
they
figure
just,
tell
that one
because the
out.
app
Yeah,
is
the app
trash.
sucks.
bro, the employees were legit doing nothing. Legit, Twitter employees said that we legit did nothing. We just bullshitted around, and we
They
just
had
ate free food. We did all that shit. And
the
Elon Musk
janitor was the hardest working person there.
yeah.
The cleaning custodian.
And you know,
And he
Twitter
wasn't
has never
doing
made a
nothing.
profit. Twitter has never made a profit. That is a
Well,
fact.
no. I think they did turn a profit just recently, but it's still not major. They're still not turning a major profit right now.
Yeah, you
But
get
they
ready for the
just
political
became
ads they
profitable.
about to start selling. I guarantee it.
Oh
Every
Lord.
daggone thing is gonna be a political ad bashing some freaking politician.
Yo, hey, look, I'm barely on Twitter as it is. I I post my my YouTube channel when I go live on Twitter. That's about it, and maybe interact a little bit, but
Yeah, y'all
I don't know, man.
wait. Y'all just wait till the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster starts posting. It's gonna be hilarious.
Wow. Did you say fly the spaghetti monster?
The Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster, man. Oh man,
Oh.
wait, bro. It's gonna be all kind of crazy stuff getting posted.
They're gonna try to bless you with meatballs. Okay.
They're gonna be like drinking bleaches to cure the cancer. It's gonna be all kind of wild stuff on there, dog. It's gonna be
Oh Lord. So basically what you're saying is we haven't seen nothing yet.
Twitter is about to be a dumpster fire of just mouth diarrhea.
Oh God.
It's gonna be people jumping off top of buildings and stuff, and when you check their phone, the last thing they were on was Twitter. That's what you're gonna see.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Let me quit.
are you really? Do you think that Twitter is going to end up being like the problem of, you know, keeping people alive?
that Twitter blue color is gonna be the representation of all the crying woke people tears and all of the angry conservatives hate mongering. That's what it's about to be.
We can only hope.
You know how they showed, like, the Bible talks about, the oceans being lit into fire.
Yeah.
That's what Twitter's about to be. It's a sea of woke tears with fire on top of it. That's what it's about to be like.
God.
Revelations on the internet, dog.
Lord. Hey, look, man. I'm just saying for myself is that Twitter, I feel like there's still a lot of potential for Twitter to be great, but the original owners didn't do anything with it. So what the hell is Elon gonna do? I don't feel like he got enough vision to figure this one out. I think that he'll putter around for a while, and somebody will give him a free idea, and all of a sudden he'll implement it. That's what I think.
What he's going to try to do is he's going to try to heavily monetize it by adding some kind of special subscription in order for you to have actual free speech.
So he's going to annoy us to death, and to not be annoyed, you're going to have to pay money.
There you go.
Oh, great. Look, if he just gets rid of if he figures out a way just to get rid of dummy accounts, I mean, like that alone would make Twitter like 10 times 10 better.
You know what Twitter's gonna be, Keon? It's gonna be like free speech OnlyFans.
Oh my God.
But you know what, no radio. I honestly don't. If they end up doing that, the pay thing, like you said, it won't be successful.
They're already trying to push this Twitter blue
it'll
crap.
probably die.
Yeah, they've been trying to push Twitter blue for a minute, man. Before Elon jumped on,
he gonna double down.
Yeah, and understand what you end up. The only way you get people to pay money is you have to give them a pain point. Look at YouTube Premium. YouTube is starting to lean in more into the premium. So what are they doing? Adding more ads to the freemium. That's how you end up doing it. Yeah,
they're putting ads on premium.
No.
Premium.
To get you on the premium, they're adding more ads to the free model. So where you used to only come across maybe one or two ads, now they're looking like they're getting ready to go 2, 3, 4, 5, or on regular YouTube. Pre-roll and after.
Oh man.
So you have to twist people's arms to make them pay money.
Mm.
So Twitter's gonna be like, oh, do you not want to be annoyed by pesky people trying to troll you? And you look, what is it? Sex trafficking, like, stuff pop into your feed. Like, why is this here? Why did you come into my feed? We're talking about 5G, not 5 hoes. I'm sorry, I don't want the hoes. I want the 5G.
Oh God, it's about to be the late 90s internet all over again.
Yes, it is.
No matter what you search, it's porn.
Yep. Yo, Man,
It's
that's
like
crazy.
Snickers bar. It's like, get this BBC Snicker bar.
Wow.
Like, dang, I was just trying to put my coupon code in off my Snicker bar wrapper, man. What the hell, man? You'll search nice churches nearby, and it'll be like Church's Chicken, BBC.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's exactly what's gonna happen on Twitter. Look, you're gonna do crazy. It's gonna be crazy stuff. You're gonna have to verify your age to be on Twitter soon. That's exactly what's about to go down.
Keon, you ever see the episode of Dave Chappelle that's called "If the Internet Was a Real Place"?
No, have I seen that one?
It's from the Chappelle show, and he did "If the Internet Was a Real Place."
I think I might have seen it, but
and it was him walking around like a shopping mall, but that was the internet, and he's just minding his business, but porn pop-ups keep showing up.
Oh gosh!
And then he's like about to walk into the actual music store, and then there's some dude running by with a bunch of CDs falling out because he's selling bootlegs.
Wow. Are you saying that that's what Twitter going to end up being? You gonna be
going to see feet pics? Feet pics over here. Feet pics over here.
all the pics and peaks from your favorite YouTubers. Look, feet.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Free for all Twitter. I mean, it's like I said, it might be a dumpster fire worth watching. You know what I'm saying?
Man, I do not want to watch a dumpster fire on purpose, bruh.
And it's gonna be people with their gasoline diarrhea mouth just hurling onto the fire 24/7. They say, everybody, look, it's gonna go back to everybody on Twitter fighting 24/7 like they used to do. Everybody cussing their fighting and calling names. That's what it's going back to if it's true freedom, like they claim. That's what it will be. Yep.
I don't know, man. Dude, that's kind of crazy.
That's what people miss. That's what they want. That's what they claim they want. They want that. They want to go back to watch people argue for hours about stupid stuff and calling each other names. And yeah, man.
Oh, I don't even know what to say about that. I don't know what to say because here's the thing. For the most part, it's always about how you manage your social medias. So, like for me, I'm on Facebook, but I'm not really on Facebook, right? Like I have groups I follow on Facebook, and I'm looking for information on certain things when it comes to Facebook. But I literally turn off all notifications for Facebook, like none. I don't get that time. You're not gonna bother me when I'm thinking about stuff. You know what I mean? But the same thing about Twitter. I don't, maybe whoever I follow. But now what's going to end up happening is whoever I'm following is going to be trying not to be bothered, and then they're going to start triggering mine because I'm going to get bothered by their responses. It's going to be terrible.
Yeah, you'll make the mistake to go in to jump in a conversation and make one statement. Now for the next 3 months, it won't shut up.
Yes. Yo, this is gonna be. Oh God, it's gonna be bad.
Hey man, just saying, yo. And what is it, Kanye?
He's buying Parler.
Him and Elon gonna have it out.
Oh, great! Two cuckoo for Cocoa Puff people with social medias. This is gonna be great.
Kanye gonna be like, Parler, the unsocial media.
Uh-oh. You telling me that we're gonna end up having billionaires fighting over the hearts and minds of people? Mic check, Mike. Oh, you sound kind of far away.
There?
I said I'll buy popcorn for that.
Oh no. Don't give him any ideas because that means that it's gonna be whoever can have the biggest dumpster fire now.
Exactly. No, we're the more freer media.
No, because here you go. I feel like you're gonna have conservatives on one and you're gonna have liberals on another. It's gonna split into two.
Yo, that'll just be boring. That won't be a dumpster fire. You gotta have both sides you gotta have extremists from both ends in the same place.
Oh,
give one of them a spear and one of them a sword and watch them kill each other, man. You know.
You got to take it back to medieval times.
It's about to be like battle rap, the political edition.
Oh God! Hey, did you ever watch was it Batman: The Dark Knight with the one with the Joker?
Yeah, man. He's
And you remember
legend.
that? Yeah, and you remember that scene where he was looking? He looked at to the two guys and was like, "We got to open it." And he broke the stick in half. It took only one. It was like, and the time for sign up is about to close. We're gonna have to see y'all battle it out. That's exactly what's about to go to happen. Oh gosh!
But I tell you, dog, the damn the conservative party is already internet stalking me.
Really?
No, I'm not talking about like regular. I'm talking about their advertisements.
Oh no!
Every freaking ad I see is some smear campaign for Cheryl Beasley, whatever her name is. Every freaking place I go, don't get Cheryl Beasley. She doesn't want your children to be safe.
Well,
Don't
see,
get
you're in North
Cheryl
Carolina,
Beasley.
so you're getting bombarded in North Carolina, aren't you?
But it's just her. It's only her. Because
Hey, because
ain't nobody.
because she's the only one that got money to be able to spend.
No. She is not her putting the ads. It's ads against her.
Oh, ooh.
And I'm like, I never said I was voting for the heifer in the first place. What are you trying to convince me of? I'm confused.
They don't know that.
For the first time
They
ever,
don't.
I wanted to look, Keon. For the first time ever, I wanted to hang out with Dave.
Oh, wow. Give me away from this crazy.
Stop checking me.
Give me away.
It's like maybe
Man.
Dave's right.
Hey, look, man. They all that money they spend on political ads and stuff. They go and feed some little kid somewhere. Somebody getting paid off of these ads. It's how our economy works. This is how our economy works.
I'm
Spend a
just
whole
like,
bunch
bro.
of money, bother a whole bunch of people. They get all riled up and get angry, and then they run off to the masses and start burning down houses. And
But I
they storm.
realized, like, if I was like some naive, overly sensitive person, like, and I was seeing those ads all day, I would think this hoe's the devil. Like, we gotta go hang her now, you know? And I'm like, no wonder these people are crazy, because there's people who they feed into that type of energy. Like, fear mongering is their flavor, and it just feeds them and feeds them and feeds.
Here you go. If the spending did not give results, then they wouldn't spend the money.
Oh man,
That's where I'm gonna leave it at. Not to get too crazy political.
oh Jesus.
But that's hey, look. Understand something. Here you go. No radio. Let me ask you a question. Let's say you doing some wiring in your man cave, right? And you done wired up your whole cave, but the lights won't come on. Are you going to keep trying to flip that switch, or are you going to try to figure out how to get that light bulb on? Because every time you walk in there, that light bulb come on, you don't got a problem.
Oh, B, it's just. Oh,
that's how
man.
I look at it.
Yeah, man. It's just, man. I'm just ready for the dumpster fire, bro. Keep your popcorn on deck.
It's coming. Yeah. Man, just pop your popcorn. I'm telling you, it's coming.
What I have to do, I'm gonna just start roasting politicians on there. If they let me post videos, I'm gonna just spend like 10 minutes roasting every politician from every freaking party and every freaking background. I'm gonna just go there. I'm gonna just go roast them, dog. No filter, because that's what I want, right?
Right. All right. So here you go. I found this on light reading, and this goes back to a video I found from I posted in the chat. Did you see the video with Mr. Who's the Boss?
The 5G video, that's a freaking sorry video. That video is so sorry.
Look, that's his rendition
never
of
been more let down by him. He made me question his intelligence watching that video.
He jumped into a pool and don't realize how deep the pool is. Okay, I just said he deals with phones and grabbing and doing a whole bunch of flashy stuff, but he ain't about that depth though.
If he would have made this video, say 4 years ago, it would be valid.
That's true. That's true. But that made me start thinking about this article here, where two big 5G cases are struggling. So what was the big two? Future of autonomous vehicles and the metaverse, VR, right? So
But
what have we not gotten to yet? Autonomous
you,
vehicles and VR yet?
but do you want to know why none of that matters?
Why?
Because the people who started pushing and advertising 5G got it wrong in the first place.
Why would you say that?
Because the true realization is the biggest benefit of 5G that's going to be tangible to the masses is more widely available broadband internet to residential customers. That is going to have the greatest effect of all of these things.
Okay, but hold
All
on,
of
no
it.
radio. Hold on, hold on. No radio. But here's the thing, though.
If,
Nobody cares. When
but they
you
don't
when
care
you when
because
you like, I
because they
care.
were told to care about something that doesn't matter. The tangible effects of the 5G they're actually benefiting people that do matter is what no one's talking about. That's the problem. So if they would have came out in the beginning and said, when we deploy this bandwidth, it's going to allow us to service rural people with better internet, right? That would have
Right,
been more valuable than autonomous vehicles, because at least that's going. For example, there's more likely a random farmer with 5G home internet right now than there's an autonomous vehicle on the street.
of course there is.
Last year, that farmer had a DSL connection with a 800 kilobit download, and today he's getting 300 in the middle of nowhere. That is a tangible effect of 5G that LTE couldn't give us because lack of bandwidth.
Right,
So
but here's the problem. Here's the problem. Because autonomous vehicles and VR was those
sounds,
was what you call those hot topics, right?
man,
Because look, before take autonomous vehicles for example, right? I pay attention to the space with me being a Uber driver, right? Uber invested billions of dollars into trying to get rid of us, realized it couldn't be done, and then sold off the company, sold off that branch of company because it's going to take too long, right?
but
But during that time, man, it was the hype train everywhere. Oh man, we're gonna have autonomous vehicles by you know this time tomorrow. I mean, even Tesla was jumping on that.
but people care. People don't care about autonomous vehicles.
But it was about the funding.
No, it's.
All the money that was being dumped into
I'm
these
sorry. I'm sorry.
projects.
If you're an investor out there and you only pushed into 5G for autonomous vehicles, you're an idiot. You're an idiot. You're an
But they,
idiot.
hey, look, but they slapped on the 5G use case onto the autonomous vehicles, onto the autonomous cars to gain more hype from it.
Yeah,
And then
but
you add VR also. It's all about trying to get the 5G hype train, man. That's all
you
it
do
was.
look. You know where the autonomous vehicle ideal for 5G is going to be at in about 10 years. You know where it's going to be.
What's it gonna be?
It's going to be about as successful as the WNBA.
Wow, sir. First of all, uh, we need to bring our WNBA basketball player back from Russia, but that's a whole nother subject. Sir, that's mean.
So it's the truth. People aren't going to support it. People don't even want electric cars. Now you're trying to convince the masses that they need to be driven around by a computer too,
You
bro.
know what? Here's the thing. I think that people need to be warmed up to technology
That's fine.
because like right now, think about it like this. You hop into an Uber, you see an Uber driver. It literally took 10 years for people to get comfortable about getting into strangers' cars. Now you're talking about going straight computer, nobody sitting in the front seat. What?
Uh,
But here's the thing: I don't even have a car that I'm driving that can at least steer itself down the road without my hands being on the steering wheel.
I
So
I get all that, but people been getting in cars with strangers for damn near 100 years. It's called a taxi.
that don't count.
At least you had a look. Think about it. Think about it. Think about it. Really, Uber is actually more transparent than catching a random taxi in New York.
There is. Yeah, I agree.
That's my point. It's more transparent.
I agree. Hey,
Good
look,
luck trying to track down the
I
jackhole
drove a
taxi driver.
taxi. I
Exactly.
drove a taxi. Believe me. Hey, look. My dark years was when I was driving a cab, man, and I
My
hated it
point is
every
that.
minute of it.
So I mean, it's yeah. There wasn't no social ranking for taxi drivers. You could just be a crazy nut and probably keep driving, long as you don't, long as you can, keep from being identified as the loony that did whatever you did.
That's very true.
So that's why I say, I'm not against autonomous vehicles. What I'm saying is the majority of the population benefits greatly from other things that 5G could offer than any of the crap they push forward. It's kind of like this, bro. There's $1 million in this room over here, right? But you got one shiny gold coin, a single shiny gold coin, and you just keep twinkling the gold coin over there. When everybody realizes the gold coin isn't worth anything, but they freaking jumped in the boat for the gold coin.
But dog, look at it's the same problem. It's the same problem they ran into. It's the exact same problem they ran into when it came to cryptocurrency. Like you had Bitcoin, and then all of a sudden it was the Bitcoin lookalikes all the way downhill because everybody realized they missed out. They missed the boat with Bitcoin number one. Now they got to go find Bitcoin number 2, 3, 4, 45, 50. People were inventing cryptocurrencies at this point, calling it after themselves. My cryptocurrency is John cryptocurrency. You should jump on board. And people were giving them millions of dollars.
Like I said, it's all I'm saying is 5G was advertised wrong, which is the reason why there's such disappointment in it. That's the reason for videos like Mr. Who's the Bosses. He was told that we were as a masses told bullcrap stuff that doesn't actually really benefit us in any immediate time frame. And now when none of that stuff is actually happening, you're going, well, we could have just stayed 4G with this. And it's like the actual tangible goods that we're already getting from it is being overlooked. And that is the problem.
But here's the thing.
I blame all the US carriers for this crap that they spewed out. It's all of them's fault. There's nothing wrong with 5G. It's just that the public, what we're going to call the 5G's public PR department is trash. That's it. It's bad PR.
So what's up, EM Tech? What's happening, man?
What's going on, fellas?
What's going on? Hey, feel free to jump into the conversation.
Yes, sir.
I'm ranting right now, but we were just basically talking about 5G's two biggest use cases is not showing up. So I don't know how much of the conversation you heard, but autonomous vehicles and VR are the two biggest ones, and we haven't seen none of it yet.
Yeah, both things that have simultaneously existed but not actually tangibly existed for the last 3 years.
Yep.
Hey, that's very true.
Yep. I mean, like long term, that's where it's at. That's what 5G is going to benefit, but the only company taking VR seriously is Meta, and nobody likes Meta.
Hey, here you go. He lost $700 billion in value during 2022, all because he's doubling down on VR.
Yeah, Meta about to be right behind freaking Google Stadia.
oh God, sir. Oh, did you have to say that? Look, my wounds have not closed.
I'm pouring salt in the juice, baby. Salt in the juice.
I haven't come to terms with this yet.
Get some therapy.
You're just an evil son of a gun. Broken radio. Oh, God. That's a whole nother rant. I'm not even going there. No. I'm not even going there.
Look, Google Stadia, WNBA, all the failures.
Golly. Remember, people, send all your hate mail to @NoRadio on the future dumpster fire that is Twitter, ran by Elon Musk now.
Oh, geez.
But don't worry, dog. With the way things are going in America, bro, the WNBA gonna be very, very interesting soon because they're gonna be dunking and doing 360s and all because they're gonna have to integrate all the days and the z's and z's and zays. It's gonna get interesting.
Oh no!
You just wait till Joanna Man shows up.
Oh,
people gonna be
no radio.
tuned in, boy, to see them get teabagged until the go. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be wild.
Wow, no radio. Somebody who knows how to take the conversation to the left, to the left.
Hey man, my steering wheel got one of them locks on it. I can't turn it no way but left, dog. It's NASCAR, baby. NASCAR. We going left.
Yeah, round the circle we go. To the left, to the left. Oh man. But no, man, hey, look, my like for me, on the technical side, when it comes to 5G, I pretty much saw what the reason why we need to go to 5G when I went to New York. Okay. So I'm in the middle of Times Square and I'm looking at all these people and I'm doing speed testing and I'm like, wow, LTE sucks balls. LTE is terrible, bruh. And I understand. And people were like, and it started giving me a bigger perspective, right? So now when you see, you know, non-standalone, really what you're seeing is the inefficiencies of LTE. That's what you're really seeing. You're not seeing you're not seeing N41 struggling or N77 struggling. You're actually seeing 4G not able to hold up. That's what you're looking at.
Yeah.
That's the problem. Because when I'm standing in the middle of Times Square with all these people taking pictures and selfies and all this other stuff going on, and you run a speed test and I'm on Verizon or I'm on T-Mobile and it's 9 megabits down and 45 up, what do you expect?
Yeah, go ahead and run a VR session on that.
Oh hell no. That's not happening.
And
You
God
need to be
forbid
able
what your ping would have been.
Oh God, it was terrible. It would be terrible too.
But like I say, it's growing pains, man. People didn't like cars when they first came out. They was wanting to keep their horses. You know what I'm saying? So
Hey,
I
look.
think the biggest problem with the two categories that Mike Dano's talking about is those are both like they're not necessities, they're a la carte things.
Yeah.
And with telcos and literally every other company on the planet right now raising prices and going to subscription-based models, right now this stuff seems just so far in front of most people. I mean, everything is going up in price. And
But
every company's going for a subscription model for this autonomous driving. I'm sure
Oh,
Meta's
yeah.
going to do like a monthly thing with the metaverse. Like
Yeah.
the problem
But
with trying to monetize 5G right now is that nobody really has expendable income for that shit, you know?
no, not even so much of expendable income. The thing is I think that when it really boils down to it, right? I think people will spend their money on what they feel like is good for them. But besides walking around with a 5G phone and going holding up in the sky and doing a speed test in front of an antenna, which you should not do, you'll just irradiate your brain apparently. But if you do, if that's what you think 5G is, that's not the case.
yeah. Well, that's the
That's
thing
farther
too.
from the
Subscription
truth.
models. I mean, technically, we already have subscription models. It's called car insurance.
The oldest insurance in
So
the
think about
world.
a person that lives in a city and they don't even drive a vehicle. They would be the equivalent of them paying for an insurance premium every month to have a subscription for riding an autonomous network of cars.
But here's the thing: people will do it because look at Uber. Uber came out with Uber One, and people choose that because they don't want to get hit with surge pricing.
Exactly.
So they're willing to pay per month just so they can ride around for and basically give their money to somebody else for convenience and being able to get where they want to go.
Now, and also got to realize too, guys, like in the future, you're not really, odds are the only time you're probably even going to be leaving your home in the future is for social gatherings. In the future, you'll probably have almost everything delivered to you. You'll probably work from home as well. There'll just be certain people that work in certain fields that requires them to actually go out. But the majority of the population in the U.S. is probably not even going to be leaving their homes. So it's not that big a deal. That's another reason why the autonomous vehicle and the vehicle sharing thing is going to take off, is because less people are going to need to own a vehicle in the first place. And in major cities, this is already the truth and has been that way for a very long time.
That is true.
People in New York don't tend to own cars. They just don't.
Yeah.
There's no
Hey,
reason.
look, I did the math. I did the math when I was in New York on trying to like take my car or rent a car and drive it in New York. Do you know that it literally balloons out of control?
Exactly.
It literally balloons out of control. Look, you rent a vehicle, then you drive it to New York. You got to park it somewhere. Well, it is literally $60 a day to park. Okay. Now, if you like, but I'm not gonna park in the parking garage that the hotel provides. I'll park on the street. Good luck, because now you're fighting with every single New Yorkan for a parking spot. You might end up parking 5 blocks away just so you can park your car. Which, guess what?
Well, you ever watch Everybody Hates Chris when he talked about how his dad used to make him move the car?
No, I haven't seen that one.
And he was talking about in the 70s how bad it was in New York.
Oh God.
And he was reliving like, bro, we had to fight for parking, and this was 40-something years ago.
Wow.
The population was lower, and they were still out there like 4 a.m. Go move the car from that space to this space because the price is different at this time, and then go move the car again from over there to here. And then it's like, oh no, forget that. Give me a subscription, $120 a month, unlimited rides. Bam.
I mean, that's less than insurance.
There you go. Point exact.
That's way look. That's my insurance times 4.
So I mean, it's like I say, the world is going to change to the point that this stuff isn't going to seem so outlandish.
But here's the thing: it still comes back to the fact that 5G. I feel like 5G got overhyped. I think that they saw what they when 3G, you're going from 2G to 3G, and throwing the G in front of your moniker got you popularity, right? So people were like, oh, I need the new 3G phone. Then it was the new 4G phone, and the marketing behind that. So I feel like they jumped so far ahead on 5G that they started promising stuff that couldn't be even thought of yet.
But here's the bigger one, right? But guess what? I'm about to give you the epiphany moment, and maybe you'll catch it, maybe you won't. They could have just kept it called 4G and still made all the same changes, and guess what? Nobody would have said a word. Nobody
would even said anything. But then, how would you advertise?
You would advertise it as what's no different. Even in the LTE era, to get the advanced LTE feature, what you have to do, get a new phone.
That's true.
It was just a new word, 4G phone. New word, 4G phone. This 4G phone has more aggregation. It was the same exact thing. The only thing they really done is change the name to 5. If they would have never done it, it would have just been LTE A. They still would have been making all these same upgrades. It's just the name change caused the whole world to stop. That's really what's going on here. You got to remember, original LTE wasn't doing all this aggregation that it's done in the last 5 years. You still had to get new devices to take advantage. So people say, well, I've had my LTE phone all these years, and you're going to make me go get a 5G one. Bro, that LTE phone you had, you were probably forced to get it too. You just forgot because you weren't sold some new name. It's the name. What I'm saying is the name is less important than what's actually going on. If they wouldn't have changed the name of it, we wouldn't even be having this conversation. Because last time I checked, we weren't all on the internet talking about LTE Advanced nonstop when it came out. Were we?
No, because you put the market behind. I mean, what the marketing behind it would have been sucky. I mean, come on, how would you market, LTE Advanced? I mean,
and you've almost got to realize too, they created a whole new economy by starting 5G. Think about it.
That's true.
People are literally making money off of talking about 5G. People are it's keeping these news companies full of stories to tell. In a way, 5G might have saved some businesses.
Maybe.
But we wouldn't even know each other, guys. There was no 5G. So
It's true.
Well, I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah, yeah.
But you know what? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. The technologies behind 5G was needed more than anything. With like I said, with me being in New York, and you got all those people. And think about it. Like take like the ball drop in Times Square, where there people are going to be in there ashes to elbows. I mean, like that's how close they're going to be. I was only there for like 45 minutes to an hour, and there was a concert going on, and people were just standing around. It was hard for me to move through the crowd.
Yep.
Okay, so imagine the whole square done that. So you're talking about maybe Times Square could probably hold anywhere between a million plus and 2 million people. LTE cannot handle that. There's no amount of small cells that you can add to your network that's going to be able to accommodate 2 million people inside of the size of a football arena, literally crammed together.
So what do you need to solve that? You need big wafts of mid-band.
Yeah, true.
Big wafts of it, big chunks and huge chunks of mid-band is what you need. Millimeter wave is cool and all, but mid-band would be a better problem solver in that scenario if you have a lot of it.
That's true.
So,
But I mean, but here's the thing: with when they decided, I guess whenever they decide, they came up with new technology so drastically different than what LTE was, because LTE's word lettering means long term evolution. So they made such a large leap. They just went ahead and decided to go 5G. Because I mean, come on, think about it. You're going from 20 megahertz channels to 400 megahertz channels. That's a drastic difference.
oh yeah, we're not arguing that. I'm just saying that they could have avoided all the hate that it's garnering by not saying the word 5G. That's just like go back to Mr. Who's the Boss. This idiot literally said
not idiot.
he literally said 5G has more energy.
Also, the small cell, or like they don't call them small cells in the UK, but the cell site that he was pointing to or had video footage of was those broadcast N78. They don't do millimeter wave.
And even if they did do millimeter wave, that still wouldn't be more energy. That's actually even less energy.
Hey, look,
What
I
I'm
don't think
getting
he
at
did
is
any research when he
he
was
did what
doing
the
it,
average
okay?
person does, and he associates internet speed with a power level. It ain't a car, okay?
Vroom, vroom.
You don't just give it more you don't give it more electricity and it gets faster. But that's what he literally said. And this is where the misnomer. That's why everybody's running around worried about 5G giving them cancer. They're like, see, it's more stronger antennas. I'm like, if that were true, then why is everyone complaining that they have weaker signal on 5G? I wonder. Ooh.
Hey, look, we didn't go for common sense, sir. He do it for entertainment reasons.
I was let down by the brother, man. I was let down by the brother, man. Well,
hey,
that's all I got to say, man.
Look, that's the reason.
Yourself.
Look, that's the reason why I'm doing
like the boss. You looking
that's
like
why I'm doing my. That's why I'm doing my YouTube channel, man. I want to help people understand what 5G is, dog. 4G, 5G. Let's ride.
Well, he said, "Who's the boss?" And the answer was not him.
Ooh, sir. But I'm just saying, man. Like the idea is, how do you market to the next set of consumers who's have money sitting in their pocket, burning a hole in it, right? That's pretty much what's happening.
Okay, let me ask you this: Did phone sales stagnate in LTE?
I think they did a little bit.
No,
they did not.
They did not.
No, because every year you still have lines out the door for iPhones. It does not matter. Nobody cared that the iPhone 12 had 5G. Nobody cares that the iPhone 13 or 14. They don't care. They care that it's got the shiny new camera.
Facts.
It's not the phones.
So
and that's the problem.
That this was a way to sell more phones is bogus.
It's bogus.
Mm.
And if that was their goal, they were wrong.
Well, they've been wrong for a while now.
Well, and the thing you guys got to keep in mind too is the U.S. was quote unquote first to 5G. After every other country that hadn't already started deploying millimeter wave saw how terrible it was to scale at the start, they pivoted. Every other country started doing N78 or
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
2.5. We
Well, hey, they saw how America responded to the 5G, hype train, and was like, yeah, I'm gonna pass on this train. We're gonna let that one go by. we good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So my take on it is this: I'm giddy and nerd out when it comes to tech, and I like what 5G is offering. The problem is they could have did better.
I mean, honestly, if we want, if like I said, if we're gonna be 5G's PR representatives, sadly, they probably should have talked about it less.
Well, I mean, a lot of people still don't even know nothing about it.
No, they don't know technical things about it. They know it exists.
Look, Apple doesn't even put 5G on the phone, bro.
Exactly. Exactly.
People don't know if they have a 5G phone or not.
No, do you know why they know? People do know though, because every freaking news station did the same thing Mr. Who's the Boss did. They went on a fear mongering tour as soon as 5G was announced. Which is why we had towers getting lit on fire. And towers that weren't even 5G yet.
Hey, look, I've had conversations with customers in my car talking about how, like, I heard that it's going to irradiate my brain. I was like, let me ask you a question. Did you have a rabbit ear television when you were a kid? Yeah, same radio signal. Moving on.
You got a direct TV satellite dish outside your house? Same thing.
Yeah.
There's your millimeter wave, baby.
Except guess what?
You just walk outside and you just stand in an open field, and guess what? It's hitting you. You ain't got to be on the street corner with the little thing to get millimeter in your brain.
You have a better chance of being seared by the sun before those radio waves do anything to you. Man, but go ahead, Ian. You about to say something?
Yep.
I think the most important thing, though, that people here for some reason just overlook completely is just the absolute scale of these networks in the US. Like, if you pull up a coverage map of like Mr. Who's the Boss sees in the UK, their 5G coverage maps for all of their carriers there are fucking abysmal. They're terrible. Like, so his view on the before and after from 4G to 5G is not only jaded in that regard, but he also hasn't experienced what we had before quote unquote 5G started rolling out. Like, our networks were real congested, real slow, and now it's an overnight shift. Whereas,
but you know what? I think that 5G wasn't really being sold to us. Now that I've been talking about it, because look at the news that's been going, like, for Fierce Wireless and RCS or RCR Wireless, or even Light Reading, right? You starting to hear, like, what was it, Boeing leaving Verizon and going and picking up T-Mobile. I think that it was for the companies. I think 5G is geared more towards companies, because they were talking about more like MEC. They were talking more like, just 5G in general for network slicing, geared towards bigger companies than they were consumer.
So here's one thing that I'll give you, right? So I already know overseas, a lot of the factories. So think about a factory, right? You got a bunch of machines in the factory. Okay. Now you could, if say you need to get a bunch of bandwidth in that factory really fast, right? The obvious best thing you could probably do is basically wire the whole gigantic factory with fiber, right?
Right.
But you could also just go buy a small antenna, stick it on one end of the factory, and every machine in the building is attached now.
That's the quickest way of doing it.
That's a lot of what was actually going on. A lot of the equipment that we were testing, that's what when we did our research, that's what they were using it for in China. They were using these little small cells to have 200 or 300 machines linked to a network across a factory that's freaking 20 football fields big.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they were using it for. So that's what the industrial use case would be. So think about an airport today, right? You go on an airport today and you need good networking everywhere. Well, you could wire the entire building, or you could put Wi-Fi spots everywhere. But we all know Wi-Fi has to run at what? Low power.
Right.
But you could get away and have better coverage by having small cells in the building. You'd probably need half as many to create a private network in that airport that you could link a bunch of different things to if you needed to, whether it be sensors or what is it? What do you want to call them? God, what is it? The people that sell things in there.
Commerce.
Concessions, things like that. You could create a network out of thin air. That is the industrial application for it. That is where it would shine. That's why you're going to see some of these factories doing private millimeter wave, because they can literally take a factory and stick an antenna up in the corner, and now the whole building has multi-gig. Whether it be an automated robots, because think about it, if you got robots, have you ever looked at the Intel factory?
No, I've never seen it.
Those things that
Oh, you
carry
talking about
chips?
those? Yeah.
In a situation like that, where you've got hundreds of little robots all over the place, a wireless network is your best option if these things are free roaming. Okay. Otherwise, you got to have all kind of intricate networking in the building. 5G use cases can help with that stuff. So that's why I say it allows you a more effective way of creating a private network out of nowhere. And that is the industrial use case in 5G. That's why maybe Boeing's going to try to do something like that. Say they've got a big, operation somewhere and they got to link all these different machines together. They might want to be able to have like a private lane on a network that's literally reaching every inch of the property to link off.
True.
And that's what we're talking about. That is the 5G use case for somebody like that, because they run a big operation. Boeing does, even though they only make like one plane every 6 months or something. Whatever it is.
Their warehouses are big, yo.
There's a guy that worked for
huge.
them, and he was like, "Bro, I literally only worked once every 6 months." And they were like, "Well, what did you do at Boeing?" He's like, "I was responsible to make sure all the parts were ready to assemble a plane." And he was like, "Yeah, they only needed me once every 6 months, but they paid me year round to sit in the office and do nothing."
Dang.
And he was making multiple six figures to literally make sure all the parts were ready once every 6 months.
Good God.
That's Boeing. That was in Washington State where that guy worked at.
Yeah, I believe it. But look, here's the thing. It does make more sense, especially if you take the Amazon approach. Amazon literally, like, if there's a factory, an old factory floor or an old mall, you don't want to invest a whole bunch of hardware into the place. You throw up a couple of nodes, bam.
There you go.
You got an instant network, and it's covering 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 feet easy, no problem. And then all of a sudden, if let's say that it just happened here, that mall that I was talking about, it got demolished. Well, if Amazon put a whole bunch of hardware in there, now all that hardware is gone up in smoke.
So think about it, right? Say you're Amazon and you buy some big building, right? Or you lease the building. You're going to go in there and run an entire network of fiber and stuff? Or would you go, shoot, if I can get 100 megahertz of bandwidth on there, I ain't got to run a single wire. And if I decide to abandon this building, I just pack up and leave. I'm not going to leave behind, $1 million worth of wiring.
Right.
That's what I'm saying. It also allows you to move things around. Say the factory has to get rearranged and the machines need to move. Because I used to work in manufacturing. So the machines got to get moved. In the old days, you got to move all the electrical wiring, all the comms wiring, any kind of communication stuff has to all be rerouted. But if you have a private network with millimeter wave, you just stick the machine where you please.
That's true.
That's why I'm saying that's the applications that will help them. So
what you're telling me is no self-driving cars.
I'm not saying no self-driving cars. I'm saying no one cares right now. Self-driving robots in a factory is more valuable.
That is true.
Self-driving forklifts. I used to run a CNC robotic welder. Hey, self-driving robotic welder.
Oh God!
I'm just saying, self-driving crane.
robots are going to be building themselves, sir.
I used to weld and build military equipment, self-driving 40-ton cranes, self-driving forklifts. Think about it. Self-driving lathes. You remember how the Air Force has got like, a guy sitting in a little trailer flying a drone? Well, guess what?
Yeah.
I can sit at home and run the CNC machine now.
Wow.
And what you know what you can do with that? You put one attendant in the building. So it used to be one guy at every machine. Well, guess what you can do with that machine now that it can be automated from away? You put one guy in the building, and when the machine gets stuck or something, he goes over and unsticks it, and then he goes back to watching the other machines while the people who are remote can operate all that equipment.
That's true.
And they just go, hey, such and such machine has a hiccup. Go and clear that for me. Now you don't need to have people. That way, when they need talent, guess what? They can find that talent anywhere. That's where the whole argument of doctors doing surgery over 5G comes from. Is what if there is a talented doctor that's across the freaking planet and needs a good connection? Well, odds are he's probably got a freaking hardline internet connection.
Right.
I doubt he needs 5G for that.
He is not dealing with doctors with borders, and then he's in the middle of Rwanda talking about, man, I can't be there, but let me try to get my internet connection up.
Exactly.
Well, you get your internet connection from the Wi-Fi rock. Nah, they ain't happening.
So unrealistic to tell somebody the doctor needs 5G. He's probably in a hospital like Duke where they got fiber. He don't need 5G to do that. It's a joke. That's my point. A lot of these use cases they threw out there, if we really think about them, they're idiotic.
They are idiotic. I mean, here's the thing. I always assumed that our networking and our internet was always fast enough for, almost real time communications. But the way that they were, I was like, yo, you're talking about going from wired to wireless and want real time communications.
Exactly. It makes no sense.
It didn't make any sense. It made no sense at all.
If that doctor is sober now, why the heck is he somewhere without a fiber connection?
That's true. Like, why can't this robot? What is this robot doing triage in the middle of earthquake prone zone? And you just had to amputate this person's leg, but you're trying to save the leg, and this doctor that's been able to do this surgery is halfway around the world. What was it that was
getting controlled by satellite connection halfway around the world? But we need 5G now. That's my point. Is some of these applications they threw out they don't make any sense. It's like, why would you be in a hospital that the hospital itself is a big gigantic corporation, most likely, that has fiber in the building? Why do you need the 5G tower outside to control the robot when you got fiber in the building? That don't make any sense.
I think they overthunk it. Like it was so busy trying to advertise to the companies that he just threw everything to the wall. They were like, yo, throw the spaghetti on them. Don't throw the spaghetti at the wall. Throw the spaghetti on them.
Next thing you know, 5G makes your food taste better. You know what I'm saying? Like, what? Like, okay, like, bro, give real on
this. Hey, already, I'm just saying, man. I heard that millimeter wave is spicy, though. I'm just saying.
Oh,
millimeter wave is spicy.
All I'm saying, there's absolutely a need for 5G, or what they're calling 5G. But the point is, they overpromise, and they're all going to underdeliver, and that is where the problem lies. That's why 5G gets a bad name. That's why almost freaking old person I encounter says this is just a money grab, and they just want to make you get rid of your phone. They feel that way because you know what? They've already lived 80 years and looked around and gone, yo, this is obviously snake oil being sold that like 90% of the population doesn't need it, but the sectors that do need it, it is important, which is why it should have been focused. It should have been more focused and to the point of what the use cases are. That's why you still got small corporations who actually own millimeter waves because they have use cases for it. That's why they bought licenses. So here's the thing.
But here's the thing. Look at the transition from 3G to 4G and then the transition from 4G to 5G. Other cell phone carriers, I'm not going to name any, but I'm just saying that other cell phone carriers would upcharge whenever there was a new G in town. Right?
Yeah, but they had to backpedal that.
They had to because guess what? Every other carriers wasn't playing ball anymore. It didn't make any sense to start charging for, the new G in town when your other carrier down the street wasn't doing it.
Well, you got to realize too, though, there's a certain group of the population that if it wasn't presented as a free or included option, they would have fought it just for the sake of fighting it. If you get what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
They would have been like just against it for the sake of being against it. Because think about it, there's still people running around here with 3G phones. Good God.
Yeah. Oh God. Look, I'm surprised their phone is even working.
They're not. That's the problem. Now they calling Verizon saying they don't have no service.
How come my phone ain't working? Oh, you got to come in
I had
something new.
A certain vendor that I know of personally that was using AT&T 3G for their credit card machines because it's a landscape supply, so they're all over a large property moving around. So they need to be able to charge things in the middle of a freaking field. Okay. And they were using AT&T's 3G for that. Well, now they have a certain ISP as their internet provider who gave them multiple hotspots across their farming property. Ooh. So they're work on the Wi-Fi. They don't need the 3G or 4G or 5G for it. So
is that certain ISP doing like point to point to get it to the different parts on the property, or is it all?
No, they ran the lines to make the hotspots work.
Interesting.
Just like you would any kind of hotel or mall, it's no different. You put a few of those ruckus wireless things around the property, and all of a sudden you got network all over. With PoE, so you don't even got to have power at the location. All you need is Ethernet to be there.
What's interesting, my apartment complex got a bunch of new security cameras, and instead of using a certain ISP just to, do PoE or something, they ended up using a different ISP that does fiber, and they did point to point with Ubiquity for connection to those cameras.
Which is also a good option. Also absolutely a good option.
So who is and I've the more and more that I read up on this industry and all the things that go into it, the winners at the end of the day is who has fiber in the ground and who has the most of it.
Well, the majority of your major ISPs have been putting fiber in the ground since the 80s. They didn't just get started. All these are backboned on fiber from 35 years ago. I was showing some guys earlier some fiber that was put in 1995 from a certain ISP. Yeah, that's because they were putting it in back then. They were putting that fiber in before they even had internet offering. That's how long ago they started putting fiber. They didn't even have internet services, but they had fiber.
Man.
I think the oldest fiber I've seen in my plant is like from 91 that I've actually seen. I know there's older, but the oldest I've seen is 1991.
Hey. And that fiber still will hold the same amount of traffic on that older fiber than it just like the newer.
Just glass.
Just gotta splice some new ends on it. Call it a day. That's the thing though, is like that it's a long-term investment, but it's very expensive.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to close the gap, digital divide, it's not 5G, it's not wireless, it's not fixed wireless. It's the government needs to loosen up on permitting or create a standard so that more companies can get more shit in the ground.
Hey, look, my take is I think that they should need to go ahead and just make a lot of now. This is just me standing on the bridge by myself, but just go ahead and turn cable companies into tier 1. Y'all become a utility. And then there you go.
Good luck with that.
Yeah. I'm just saying, man. Hey, look, we don't have power. We don't have like multiple power companies except for
just remember this, Keon. Do you really want a cable company or ISP to have the freedom of a power company?
But
that's a double-edged sword.
That is a double-edged sword.
There you go.
But here's the thing. It would be mandated for them to be everywhere.
Yeah, but guess what happens? Think about this, right? If you're a private power company, do there tend to be 2 private power companies in the same city?
No.
There you go.
There's never 2 in one city.
Guess what happens when you mandate everywhere? There will be 1
That's true.
which means no competition. So
But
let's look
here's
at
the thing.
Texas, right?
But here's the thing. There's no competition right now.
That's not true. That's not true. There's just more and less competition in different places. But let's look at Texas, for instance, right?
Yeah.
In Texas, you can get different. You can okay. In Texas, the power companies operate like MVNOs. Did you know that?
Yeah. I think we discussed this one.
Mm-hmm. They have it's the same people creating all of the electricity, but you can choose who you want to pay to have access to the same electricity. And they all have some of them have little different fees or different, like if you do solar, this company's better to go through. If you do this company's better to go through. If you have this type of operation, right? Do you
Uh-huh.
really want the government to mandate that you have a company cover every inch? Because guess what happens at that point? That's going to be the worst monopoly you ever saw. Because guess what? The government don't control electrical pricing. So they can force the company to build it everywhere, but the company's still free to charge whatever they feel. Now, you tell them they got to cover every inch of an area, and if they say, hey, this is your county, you cover every inch, guess what that company gets to do? They literally become a monopoly at that point, like most power companies are.
Mm.
People think their ISPs are monopolies. The power companies got us beat by 1,000 miles, bro.
Well, understand what happened to Texas during that last snowstorm. Man, you had people with $2,000 and $3,000 electric bills all of a sudden. Like if you were one of the rare people who had power on, and
You
all of
got
a
charged a
sudden
different rate just
you
because
got
you're the
charged
only
a
one
different
using
rate.
it. Mm-hmm. That's why I say it's a double-edged sword, to say the utility word.
But look, my take on it is this: is whenever I look at the map for like cable, right? Or you ask, say, so where does AT&T exist, or where
Mm-hmm.
does Charter exist, or where
Well,
does
I've got 4
Comcast
providers in
exist?
the same major city, 4 internet providers in the same major city, and they all cover at least 65% of the area.
Mm,
That's competition.
that's true.
Like I say, it does exist, but I don't.
But what happens when you go in further in rural areas? I mean, like
Even
you got some areas where they're only AT&T. You got other areas where it's only Cox.
I'm gonna tell you something, Keon. There is no place on this planet where AT&T is the only provider. I would bet money on it. I bet money on it too. If they are the only
Oh,
provider, guess what? I bet it's DSL. It ain't fiber.
ooh.
The only place you're gonna find AT&T is the only provider. It might be in an apartment building, but there's no city out there where AT&T is the only internet provider. There's no such thing.
Ooh,
It don't
that's
exist.
that's tough.
Go do your research. Find me the city where there's nobody but AT&T fiber.
Mm.
You'd be looking for a long time.
Yeah, but hey, look,
Go find it.
I find it funny that there's no map for AT&T.
Because you got to realize this, right? Say you're AT&T, right, and you offer DSL. We're gonna call this. We're gonna call this. No, we're gonna call it T-Town, USA. Okay, and in T-Town, 1,400 people live in T-Town. Okay,
Uh-huh.
AT&T already built telephone network through that town 80 years ago because the government paid for the regular twisted pair of telephone network to get built. Decades and decades go by, and the DSL technology gets released, and they decide to roll out DSL in their town. But when they start rolling it out, they only offer the guaranteed speed at 18,000 feet. Now, T-Town is much larger than 18,000 feet long.
Right.
T-Town is like T-Town is like 4 square miles. Okay, so that means anybody who lives past 18,000 feet is getting like 1 to 3 megs. Okay, and then you got this big old company in the next town over. We're gonna call it B-Town. B-Town's got 50,000 people in it, and a little old company called Broadcast is building
Mm-hmm.
a network over there. Okay, and the people in T-Town go, man, I wish Broadcast would come over here. And then Broadcast is like, bro, you got 1,400 people. If we come over there, we're doing charity, but we need
Oh,
competition for AT&T. But bro, there's nothing to compete for. What you gonna do? Give us Tootsie Rolls for the internet? Like, why would we come over there? See, it's a monopoly. No, it's not a monopoly. You live in a place that isn't valuable. Therefore, no one's fighting for you.
So, but here's the thing: how do you turn around and make that town valuable? Because the only way that I
You,
see it, the only way
you,
I see it
you
is
know
what you
what
see
you
right,
do? I'm
what
gonna
they're
tell you
doing right
what happened.
now.
Guess what happened to America for the entire existence of America? What do people do? They do exactly what you did, Keon. What did you do?
Oh, I mean, for me, I search and try to find solutions for my problem. But
No, no. What
You
did you
moved
do?
somewhere else.
You moved
uh,
somewhere else. Now, T-Town already only had 1,400 people. And every single year, 100 kids graduate from the high school and they all leave T-Town
that's true.
and they go to B-Town. That is why these places don't have options. It's not because the companies are evil. It's because they'd have to be retarded to just give away free money because it's Tuesday. It's called a natural monopoly. It's a natural monopoly. It's not even forced.
I understand.
Corporations are not charities. Therefore, your next option is have the government pay to build it. Perfectly fine. Guess what the government's doing? They're paying the companies now to build. So the problem is already, so the point is, we can argue about people don't have internet options. Well, the government has already figured out that they can't force corporations to just give away money. So they'll just pay them to build in places where they'll never make a profit.
Hmm.
Now, where the biggest problem is with that is that time and time again, we have given these corporations large amounts of money for them to build out broadband in
And they
those
don't do
areas,
shit.
and
They don't do
they
nothing.
do
That was
on
AT&T.
paper.
That was AT&T. The other corporations aren't doing that.
But it brings up a thing that I am very happy about. The current FCC is they're actually building a accurate broadband map.
Oh yeah, I get all that. But what
We're
I'm
holding
saying
them
is,
accountable.
you know what the problem is? The U.S. government gave AT&T that money and they fumbled it. No other corporation has done this.
Hey, look. What was it? Was it Mississippi? It was
Not
Mississippi, right? So Mississippi,
that was AT&T's fumble.
Mississippi gave AT&T like millions of dollars to build their network out, and then they didn't build it, and then AT&T sued Mississippi for inquiring about the work they didn't do.
Yep,
I'm like,
that's
dang, boy,
AT&T's bad blood.
I'm like, wow, that you have the audacity to turn around and sue people for trying to figure out whether or not did you complete the work.
So I'll give you an example, right? There's a certain big corporation ISP that the government also gave money to. And the government only gave them that money because they also pledged the most amount of money to match it. And the government gave them, I think it was, the government gave them 15 months to build the first phase. They did it in 11. And they didn't have a problem with the government inquiring that it was done or not.
Oh my.
It was done early. And they had no problem proving it was done. And then they got the next phase of money, which is what should have happened with AT&T. But what did AT&T do? The government gave them everything up front and didn't set a solid timeline on what was going to happen. And that's why it was screwed over.
Dang.
AT&T probably took that money and spent it in places that the government didn't even mark for them to freaking build in.
Well, now they just changed the definition of broadband, which is why which AT&T is the primary reason why our definition of high-speed broadband is 25 by 3.
Yeah.
Because that's what they could get out of DSL.
The Death Star.
They redefinition broadband to low band.
Mm-hmm.
And
don't you misgender my broadband, Keon.
But I'll tell you what, though, what AT&T is doing now, especially in like apartment buildings or MDUs, they're doing it the right way, the smart way. Like, so.
But yeah.
But they have no choice. But they have no choice, though.
But you got to realize too, though, Ian. You do. So I don't know if you've seen how some of these contracts, they usually make those buildings sign contracts and or pay part of it.
No, I know. And then they
So
do like
that
they like split
means-
the revenue.
So what the point I'm making is, if people don't like not having competition, AT&T is purposely pursuing not having competition, which is why they would build.
But in reality, what are you going to compete with fiber? There's
Fiber.
nothing.
Fiber competes with fiber. So I'll give you an example, right? Say you're in an apartment building, right? And you want to actually give your tenants options. You know what you do? You pay to build your own fiber in the building, and you have the providers put their V hubs outside the building, and customers still get to choose.
Well, that's how they do it in other places in the world.
There's places where the buildings own the actual fiber inside the building, and the operators are outside the building. And you can literally just get pissed off at this one, and since they don't own the one that runs to your unit, you can switch to the other.
I lived in one apartment complex that I had that choice, and it was beautiful to be able to choose. Like that, as soon as my 2-year contract was up, I just look and go, "What have you done for me lately? Woo, 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 yeah." And I'll be like, "I'm gone. Bye, son of a gun." But
Well, it's like I
no.
told Keon long ago.
But why would the
the
property management companies aren't going to want that liability?
No, but guess what?
Well, crap.
It makes it
why?
no,
You know
it
why?
makes them
Because they
it
own a
makes them
royalty
look
on
better.
it. They own a royalty on it when they do that. That means they can also request being paid for access to the fiber in the building. I know places like this.
Hey, look, if anything, that makes the apartment look better, especially in my eyes, because that means I can choose where like the apartment I'm in right now, literally, I only got one provider, that's Comcast. But the apartment complex that I was in had that V hub, like he said. All I had to do was call Comcast up and be like, "No, I don't want your service no more." Call Verizon, and I got FiOS.
Yep.
And then, but basically, they compete. I had more letters when I lived in an apartment complex coming in for both of those carriers than I have living in this complex right now.
Yep.
Because they wanted my service.
A lot of the college apartments that I've dealt with in the past, they own their own wiring in the building. And what that meant for them is they would sign these massive contracts to have service provided for the entire property for a set cost. And if they ever got mad, they could literally just tell you to come pull your crap out from outside, and the other company could roll right in. And that actually happened in the building. They lose that ability once they let that ISP run the wiring into the building, and now they don't own it. That means that's like somebody moving in your house and you can't kick them out.
They became squatters.
There you go. So that's why I say in certain situations, a smart person, if you can afford it, which most of them, what it is, the reason why most of these companies don't want to pay, they will literally pay these companies to wire the whole building because, not pay them, they will sign a contract to have the building wired for free to cut down on construction costs. But now they're into that company. They can't get out.
Right.
That's what I was saying. That's what happens with a lot of these MDU properties. They're literally stuck now. And if 5 years from now there's a better option, they can't even go to it because they don't even own the wiring in the building. Now they got to go through all kind of litigation to try to get to seize it or pay or force the other company to accept a payment for them to take it back. That's the downside of you telling AT&T, look, if you wire my building, we'll give you exclusivity. And AT&T goes, yeah, when we wire your building, your ass is ours.
That's true.
That's the
thing. Broadband cable squatters. Bam. That's a show title, boy.
Exactly what it is. Exactly what it is. Which is another thing I'm seeing too. A lot of these more modern places, they're opting to actually include the internet to the tenant, and they're giving them like symmetrical gig in every single unit, and it's included in the rent. Now the tenant don't even think about the bill because he ain't got to pay it no way. It's in his rent.
That's true.
That would be
that's going on too.
My dream, bro. My dream.
I know plenty of places like this. Symmetrical in every single unit. Every unit has a freaking Wi-Fi 6 in it. And it has Ethernet ports in all the rooms that are connected back to a freaking hub in a closet. And they don't even have to worry about paying the bill. It's a part of their rent.
That's called heaven.
Well, that's
heaven, sir.
Well, that's where I was going with this whole original thing. I helped a buddy move to his new apartment last weekend. Walk into his apartment. There's a little cabinet in his closet. It's got the ONT in it. It's got the fiber drop. It's got the router. Everything's already pre-wired, ready to go. You literally just go to a website and activate it.
Exactly.
You don't even have to go to the freaking store to get a router. You don't have to have a tech come out to install the ONT.
Nope.
It's
What's
already
going on,
there.
Anna?
You sure
But no,
don't.
hey, I'm just saying, man, the ability to be able to have it pretty much, I'm not gonna say done for you, but it removes the headache. The more you remove a headache from somebody, the happier they're gonna be.
Yeah, that's more valuable. Yeah.
Mm.
But like I said, if I'm apartment owner, I don't want somebody owning the cabling in my building and now no one else can use it. I don't want that.
You let them sit up outside and hope to grab tenants and fight over your customers like 40 going south.
If I'm not going to include it in a rent in some way and I want to let them have free choice, then I want a junction outside that the company can go and tap into and say, hey, unit B wants to switch, open the junction cabinet and switch them over to your side. Whatever. Don't care.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a pipe dream in telecommunications.
Oh, but it exists
I mean,
already in places.
it
I'm trying to tell
exists,
you.
but
It
here's the
exists
thing.
already.
But here's
No,
the
I
thing.
know it does.
But
I know it does.
guess
But I'm
what?
saying,
But
like,
guess what?
on a
But guess what
scale.
you're starting to see more of. You're starting to see more companies buying out these paying these rental properties more money to become exclusive.
Yep.
So they're cutting down. They're like, yo, we can't have choice. How dare you think that? Here's a boatload of money, sir, and nobody else can hook up. Okay, I guess that's what we're gonna do. That's what they're doing
Yep.
now.
But this. But guess what? But guess who? But guess what? We're gonna make full circle, y'all. Y'all ready for the full circle?
What's up?
Verizon goes outside in the parking lot and puts a millimeter wave in front of every building, and all of a sudden, who cares if they're locked out? Who cares about their exclusive contract?
There
There's a
you
millimeter
go.
wave node across the
That's
street, and I'll
true.
stick this on the window. Thank you, 5G.
Oh, speaking
That-
of sticking the receiver on the window, did you guys see the new receiver that they came out with?
No, I haven't seen it.
So I don't think it's they did an article about it, but basically it's a indoor outdoor rated all-in-one receiver unit that does millimeter wave, C-band, and LTE. So it's multi-purpose.
Right.
Yep.
And it's got a higher gain on it, which means you're going to get better throughput, lower latency than the Cube.
Yep.
It's perfect.
Mm.
Perfect.
Go. And this is like I told you, this is a use case for 5G that they're not talking about enough. So screw AT&T.
Mm.
But then
That is true.
that brings us back to the reliability of 5G as a home internet replacement. That is in question right now.
Well, I think that since we're early days 5G, we haven't even got to network slicing yet, right? So one of the things that I keep having conversations with people is that whenever you see like big areas, New York or big venues having congestion problems, and it says 5G on the phone, really you're seeing 4G congested, and 5G is just sitting over there in the corner going, be nice for you to switch, wouldn't it? Come on over, let me come in, let me tag me in. I can solve this problem.
I know people right now who have freaking T-Mobile home internet, and they say it's the best thing since sliced bread. And where they live, their other option is 1 megabit. That's life changing for those people. If T-Mobile would have never deployed in 41 and they were stuck with nothing but band 2, that wouldn't be possible.
That's true.
We back in the Clearwire days. We back in Clearwire days.
I mean, my mom's a prime example. She had Charter that had just nothing but issues due to the way that they buried everything when the building was constructed.
Uh-huh.
Verizon comes in with C-band, $25 a month, no issues since day one, and we're going on almost a year.
There you go.
It is a use case, but I don't think it's enough. It doesn't bring in enough dough for them to justify it as like the only marketing strategy.
No, but what I'm saying is that's going to be the most tangible. Like you'll find that. You go out and find it. Find me a self-driving car, or find me the doctor doing surgery over it. You won't find that doctor.
No. But
Here's the thing.
My whole take was always this: is the money for the rural expansion is going to run out, right? It's going to run out. Like they're not going to keep throwing money at this problem when you got a large chunk of the nation is still going to not have fiber access. So how do people that's going to be on the edge fringe, like my small little town that I'm from, how are they going to get internet access?
They're gonna be like your dad using T-Mobile home internet.
Yeah, there you go. But just like his mom, on Verizon's home internet box.
Yep.
That's exactly how I think about it now.
That's
Because
the tangibility.
it's nice to run fiber everywhere, but realistically, no.
It's not gonna happen realistically anytime soon.
Not without
Because
major government investment.
But look, just like the radio just said, hey, I moved away from the small town that I'm from, and I moved to a city. So why invest in that small little town? But the people in that small little town still need access.
Yeah.
They're not running fiber to
but guess what?
everybody in that small little town.
But guess what? You open up to that town now that you have that 5G access. Less people might leave because there'll be more possibilities for them in that place.
That's true.
So some of these small towns the death rate of these small towns will slow down.
Because now they have access to broadband.
There you go.
And instead of everybody vacating to big cities, they might end up keeping their little happy butts in one spot.
Yeah, and get a work from home job and stay there.
That's true.
So that's why I say it opens up these possibilities. This is what they should have been doing. They should have been. What I'm saying is, if they wanted to have a better public image, they should have marketed it that way, because then people would be more friendly about it. They wouldn't be so neglectful of it. Like, oh God, this is horrible and all this. It's like, well, wait a minute. I know we told you self-driving cars, but somebody in the little town you're from don't give a daggone about no self-driving car.
I mean, the marketing should have been geared towards
normal
freedom
people.
and productivity.
At least then they would have had a better public image with the whole 5G thing. That's all I'm saying.
Well, who did market that way and is marketing that way is T-Mobile.
There you go.
That is true.
I drive for work. I routinely drive to very small towns, back and forth, and I always see the billboards. What I cut out?
No, you didn't cut out. You good?
I see these billboards. T-Mobile's bringing 5G home internet to this rinky-dink town, and then they have like a promotional pricing, or like they're targeting rural very hard, and it's working.
Yes, they are.
And the people don't give a damn about the phones.
Yep,
they care about the home internet.
My drive through the mountains showed that. My drive through the mountains, me getting no less than 800 as I ride through the random mountains. That shows it. The people didn't have that before.
Hey, look, no radio. We're giving the small town people the ability to witness what we've already witnessed for ourselves. OnlyFans feet pics.
Oh, gee. But in small town America, they don't know about it unless they hear about it from someone else. So like word of mouth travels fast, and if T-Mobile gets there first, they pick up one person. Well, they tell Aunt Bob, and then Aunt Bob tells
somebody else, until somebody else, and it snowballs out of control, which is probably why their quarterly earnings keeps going higher and higher.
Look at y'all being inclusive.
That snowball effect is really hitting right now.
Y'all gave Aunt Bob a platform.
Hey,
Aunt Bobby.
He can join in on the feet pics, man. He gives him a chance to join in.
Not Uncle Bobby, Aunt Bobby.
Oh Lord.
But like, have you guys looked at their coverage map
on Twitter? People
not too much lately.
You talking about T-Mobile's coverage map?
T-Mobile's coverage, like I was just looking around. They're putting N41 up in middle of the boonies, Montana, or up in the UP, Michigan, where if UP of Michigan used to be Verizon territory and AT&T territory, and AT&T's not putting 5G plus up there. I can guarantee you that. Verizon's most certainly not.
To get
T-Mobile's got N41.
To get AT&T's 5G plus, you're gonna need a phone next year to be able to get it because AT&T is not going to let you touch that DoD spectrum anytime soon.
But that's a sentiment I've been making, guys, about places where T-Mobile has now got coverage that even Verizon doesn't work. That's massive, dude. It's massive. It's insane. It's massive. And I'm not talking about band 71. I'm talking about band 41 in the middle of nowhere, and Verizon won't even load a web page. That's what I'm seeing.
They still have some challenges, I think.
Oh, of course. Oh, yes.
Like there's a good part of my state that's strictly roaming on US Cellular, the entire section of that state. And because of their contracts and their deals with US Cellular with roaming and spectrum swaps and leasing part of their 2.5 to US Cellular, I can almost guarantee you they won't expand there, or they will and it'll take forever.
But that comes down to, but you know what? But the thing is it's going to come down to whether or not I'm not gonna say it's not worth it, but I think that US Cellular is gonna have to literally die before T-Mobile will get rid of them as a partner.
And they won't.
I mean, if you live where I live at, yeah, you can only pick up US Cellular in like 3 counties near me.
God.
The US Cellular literally on T-Mobile 100% of the time. The majority of the people who have US Cellular here, they're on T-Mobile roaming 24/7.
Man.
Because US Cellular didn't build.
So while I got y'all on here before I end up calling it an evening, so I got this last article I want to talk about. Hold on. This is from Fierce Wireless talking about T-Mobile and voice over NR.
Oh, this is a sore spot.
It's fake 5G. Deception of lies.
You would have thought I set them up for this one, but no, I did not.
Shots fired. Shots fired. Officer
down. Man down.
Pimp in distress.
Gosh. But okay, so now here's the thing. You got T-Mobile, cites progress in 5G voice, but it's a slog. I read this article, okay, and they're being what T-Mobile's doing in this article is basically going like managing expectations, right? Because nobody else in the cellular industry is doing voice over NR yet. But I think that T-Mobile has got it, but they're slowly letting it out bit by bit, right? Because I didn't even know they expanded it to other cities yet, besides what this article had already said. So it was in Portland, Oregon, Salt Lake City, Utah, and different other places, right? But they also said that it's actually coming out in more places. And even Dish hasn't done voice over NR yet. So my question to both of you guys is this: do you think that T-Mobile has solved the problem, but twiddling their thumbs until that competition catches up, or do you think that it's very hard for them to actually do voice over NR?
It's hard to do.
It's hard. It's a hard thing to do.
Okay, so my thing is I don't see how it's hard for them.
Okay, what qualifies as a voice over NR call?
5G core, which all 3 carriers have right now. The handset has to be able to do it. So basically, any handset that is standalone capable, like completely standalone capable, which would probably be my generation of Fold 3 and Fold 4 can do it.
So I guess let me get more in depth, right? So let's just say, we go back, many years, right? And we go to HD voice over LTE. When you call your grandma's landline, are you still talking on voice over LTE? Is it still HD?
It's not HD, but you're still talking over LTE, voice over LTE, right?
But does it qualify?
Back in the day, no, it switched to a hard line.
what I'm getting at is, I believe to have a true voice over NR call, wouldn't both headsets have to be using voice over NR? Because
Technically, yeah.
think about it. If you're calling over, yeah, you're calling over NR, but if the other person's on LTE, then it's just getting switched back to LTE.
Right.
So does that qualify as voice over NR? I mean, because technically, if
Yeah.
I'm on standalone band 71 and I'm talking to you on Google Meet, and am I technically talking no voice over NR at that point?
Yeah.
So do you want my take on it?
Yeah, go ahead.
Absolutely.
So I was on Sprint for a very long time, and I was fortunate enough to watch them roll out VoLTE back in 2018, because they were way, way, way behind. And if I called my mom, who was also on Sprint, it would backfall to CDMA. But if I called someone on Verizon, it would use VoLTE. As far as I'm concerned, as long as the handset is capable of doing it and completing a phone call, whether it's Vonar or VoLTE, it just depends on the user equipment on each end. So if I can call you Keon, and be like, you're on your T-Mobile line and we can do a Vonar call.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. If I can call no radio and I'm on a Vonar capable device, but he's on a VoLTE only capable device, that's cool too. It as long as the product is commercially available and accessible to some degree, I would argue that that's technically Vonar.
But see, here's the thing: inside of our community, it's been too much emphasis put on whether or not is in the end is it Vonar, right? My thing is if my handset talks to that antenna over 5G, that's a Vonar call.
Okay.
I don't care where after it gets to the antenna, if it goes through some cow pasture field somewhere and rings an old rotary dial phone, I don't give a flat rare tell about it.
Okay.
As long as I was able to make the phone call.
Are you ready for my next question?
What's up?
Does it even matter? Okay, so what I mean by that is this: what are we gaining from voice over NR? Why does the consumer care?
It's a higher bit.
Look,
it's a higher bit rate.
But the
But
consumer doesn't care.
but even if it's a higher bit rate, if just because I'm over the NR connection, but we lose all of that bit rate because it gets converted back, did we gain anything?
Well, you can make that argument back when we went from non-VoLTE to VoLTE.
All I'm saying is this, right? When I had AT&T prepaid, right, and I was not using an AT&T approved device, they would not allow HD voice. I could tell the difference. AT&T having the ability to do HD voice didn't matter to me because I wasn't benefiting from it. So do I care at that point?
No, not really. No.
So that's like this. If I might be able to hit the 4K button on YouTube, but if I'm watching on a 720p screen, am I still watching 4K?
No, you're not.
No.
That's all I'm saying. It's like, yeah, voice over NR are cool and all, right? But if I get the same quality as LTE, then it doesn't matter. It's not some milestone they get to say they did something new. That's all I'm saying. That's just my argument.
But
hold on,
we said this. People said the same
thing
thing when VoLTE came out.
Exactly. But I'm saying is I could tell the difference in the call quality if the person didn't have HD voice on their end. So I might have the logo, but if I don't benefit anyway, it's just a logo at that point.
Yeah, but here's the thing: does it still only qualify to be because both people have to have 5G headsets?
Well, all I'm saying is this: if I gain no benefit from it, because I give you an example, if I'm in a tower and that tower has LTE, but it also has NR, what do I care which one it's going over if I'm just making a phone call in the first place? Why do I care?
That's true, but here's the thing: it's the inherent benefit. So like, because take my area for instance, Washington D.C. and T-Mobile has been rolling out 5G standalone in my area, right? And when I've watched the internet traffic be only on standalone, my phone actually runs faster. So all my apps open quicker. But whenever it has to drop down to non-standalone, there's a hesitant. My phone hesitates, right?
But how does that apply to calling though?
Well, here's the thing: if my phone doesn't have to drop back to LTE to make a phone call, and everything goes over 5G, I keep that snappiness on my phone the whole time.
But don't we already support dual connectivity?
You do, but there is
I
a
can
there
think,
there there is a but there is a inherent flaw with dual connectivity because it splits the internet traffic for data. But when you make a phone call, it all goes over LTE.
mm,
It doesn't use
all,
any
all
5G at all to make a phone call.
all I'm saying is this: the first company that rolls out voice over NR, I don't give them a trophy because it does nothing for me. That's all I'm saying.
Mm.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah, is it over the NR? Cool. But what I'm saying is this: if T-Mobile comes out and goes, "We've got this great new voice over NR, it's going to be better call quality, right?" But everybody I'm calling is either on LTE or on a twisted pair. Guess what? I'm not even using that new special thing for its benefits. I'm using it so I can say I did it. At that point, that's like having a Lamborghini, but the speed limit on all the roads around you 65. It doesn't matter.
Well, and we saw the exact same thing happen with HD voice. T-Mobile was the first one to say they had it, and then lo and behold, Verizon came around and has had and still has the best voice over LTE quality out of all the carriers.
Yep.
Right. When you
So
get there, just because you get there first doesn't necessarily mean you better. So
I mean, at the end of the day, all voice over NR really is truly going to benefit anybody is that they'll be able to get rid of the LTE faster. But we already know none of these companies are going to be turning off LTE anytime soon.
no.
So if the whole point of getting voice over NR to work is so they can redo the LTE side, it's not going to matter for a long time.
But it does. I mean, here's the thing, and from a non-consumer standpoint, if you it does save on battery when your phone only has to deal with 1G at a time instead of keeping two active. That's what killed people's phones when we were transitioning from 3G to 4G. You were only getting 4G for the data, but you had 3G for phone calls. And then that's what the scenario that we're back underneath right now, where to make phone calls you're on 4G, but the data traffic goes over 5G.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys this, right? On your day-to-day basis, how often do you use regular phone calling?
All the time.
I very rarely call
I
anybody.
I literally only video call pretty much everybody I talk to.
I
Yeah.
called. I'm on phone calls for 4 or 5 hours a day.
Oh, but that's because of your work.
Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah. We're talking about your personal. Like,
like
what about your
people
personal life?
video call my wife because she wants to show me something. And guess what? If I do regular phone call her, we end up hanging up and calling back on video.
Well, even if I'm just like if I'm driving somewhere and whether it's work related or not, I'll call a friend of mine. We talk on the phone for 2 or 3 hours at a time. Like,
Yeah,
and we're not doing FaceTime audio. We're not doing HD voice. We're just talking about normal life stuff. Catching up.
yeah, but I even do that over video. I literally stick
Mm.
the phone up on the dash and I hit the video call
a,
button
a lot of people
and
does
I
that
have my
because I
Bluetooth
see
in
them.
my ear and I ride
I,
along.
I see them in my car doing that. Everybody does video.
Like even ask my kids, bro. They're gonna be here when we're dead, and they use video calling for everything. You can check the phone bill, bro. Ain't no calls going.
Mm.
For work, that's a little different. But like I say, that what I'm saying is we are shifting into an environment where everybody's video calling, which is also devaluing the whole ideal of voice over NR to a certain extent. No, it's not tomorrow. But what I'm saying is just like people don't text as much as they used to either, which is hilarious. People still text,
Mm.
but not nearly as much because video calling has proven so useful that it's almost better to communicate that way than text.
You
To
know
a
what?
certain
You know what's funny? Because speaking of that, they because Google, with the Pixel, normally whenever they release some new feature or something for Android, they'll come on the Pixel first.
mm-hmm.
So the new thing that they released because you did it because already you did a video about RCS. It's funny. You should see what he did. Yeah. So he released the thing about RCS. So Google snuck this in and basically on an Android phone, you can basically talk into your phone like you leaving a voicemail message, but on a Pixel, it will dictate it out. So it's like you sent the text, but all you did was just talk. It literally
like a
dictates.
voice message.
Yeah, just like a voice message. Like you literally leave a voice message, and it will dictate it out on the text message.
Oh, so kind of like when people do voice messages in iMessage, but it'll transcribe it for you.
Transcribe it for you.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah, I just saying
So,
we're more and more, like I say, even I remember when texting was everything, and people have slowed down texting because of video calling. Video calling is kind of killing texting and regular calling to a certain extent in social environments, anyway. As far as
I think iMessage is killing texting. To be honest.
Well, iMessage is texting.
Yeah, that's another subject for another time, sir.
iMessage.
iMessages ruin the world.
It's just
it is.
Source,
it is.
Just closed source texting. It's still texting.
But I think the other thing too, and where Vonar really does not matter. AT&T in particular likes to market how secure, quote unquote, their network is compared to Verizon or whoever.
Mm-hmm.
If people are using FaceTime or another video calling application, or even FaceTime audio, all of that's end-to-end encrypted.
Yep.
And it does not involve the cellular network other than data traffic.
Right.
So who cares? Like the argument that some people really like to give that it's only true standalone 5G if it's Vonar capable, or Vonar is the only thing that matters. Half 99% of the people that are out there communicating don't give two hoots.
It sure don't.
Because it's already end-to-end encrypted. It's already secure.
Look,
it's already got a high bit rate.
The whole idea for real, and I think that me personally, this is just my opinion, and you could call it fanboyism, but I think that they've already solved the voice over 5G problem. The thing is like I said, it really doesn't matter. So they can roll it out and it don't even have to do a presser about it. It just happens, right?
Exactly.
So they don't even do a presser. They released a presser in June to say, hey, we fired it up in this amount of cities, this city or that city, this city, that city. But at the end of the day, I think they've already had it for a while.
Yeah, but I think that's going to be one of them things where it's going to be smoke on the first day. Like, oh, look at the fireworks, and the next day, no one's going to care.
I just think that's just something now who I think is going to have a hard time is going to be Dish, because they haven't. I thought that by now that they will already have their voice over 5G up and running by now.
But think about it, right? They're going to be spending so much time roaming that they ain't even going to have full control over that in the first place.
See, and that's what I think. Like, I think that they get a chance to have a clean slate, quote unquote. 5G greenfield technology, whatever you want to call it, but they still run into the problem that AT&T is not running a 5G core through your 5G core. They're basically like, we're gonna let you roam. You get roaming capabilities, but we're not gonna do anything special for you.
Yeah. But like I told you what my whole goal for 5G was. My only expectation of 5G at the end of the day is that my experience becomes completely seamless and I never see a buffer screen again. It's the only thing I care about.
Hey, look, I can tell you this much right now. Being on standalone versus non-standalone, there's a major difference. I could tell that. I can see the difference. Even my Uber app acts differently when it's on standalone. Like, I could push a button and bam, it automatically gets the information. When I'm on regular LTE, it goes, get back to me in a moment. I'll talk to you in just about 5 minutes. There's a noticeable difference.
Yeah.
There's a completely noticeable difference when you're 5G standalone versus non-standalone.
And these people who said that LTE could already do video with no problem, they're probably people who don't literally drive hundreds of miles a day.
No, they don't. They're not. Come on.
They're not hopping from 50, 60 towers a day. That's why they're if you're sitting still at a good tower, okay, LTE can handle that. But when you're going from different parts of a city that's differently populated over the course of the area, you're going to more notice how bad LTE is because you're constantly hopping from tower to tower, and you'll be on a tower that's not congested. The next tower is congested as hell. And then the tower that's not congested, the next tower is congested as hell. Most people don't ride around like I do as much as I do for a living. I'm burning up. Now I'm doing 300, 400 miles every 2 days. So I get to actually move around the network versus you drive from point A to point B to your office every day, and then you stay there all day, and then you drive back. And you might stop by that same grocery store over and over. I'm in a random part of a different county at any point in time. So I get to see how bad the networks actually are overall. Most people don't see that. And for those people, they're probably not going to tangibly benefit from 5G. But people that work in the field and move around constantly, and we see all the bad spots, that's where 5G is going to shine for us more so than others.
Yeah.
My exposure to different areas, driving more frequently has changed my opinion pretty significantly.
Yep.
I'm not driving the same 5-mile route to work every day, and I'm not connecting to the same sites at the same times. I'm seeing the good, the bad, the ugly, and the real ugly.
And all you got to do, bro, is put a YouTube video on, just like an hour long, and just drive, and that will show you how bad it is.
But here's the thing. That's also why I formulate my opinion differently, because I had somebody on my YouTube page or in the comments ask me, so you did your testing in New York, what do you think? And I thought, look, you know what my response was? AT&T's better. And I said the only reason why they get the nod is because they're not congested.
Yep.
You could see that through my videos because AT&T's performance is better than Verizon and T-Mobile's. I mean, like side by side. I put them side by side, and literally, if you see Verizon and T-Mobile's, they struggle even against each other. But you put AT&T next to them, AT&T's like, hey, ain't nobody on our network. Come over here, party over here, baby. Let's go.
Yeah.
That's the problem too. Is like people formulate their biases and their opinions based off of their small anecdotal opinions or their anecdotal experiences. If you stay within the same county or the same, whatever square miles of your home base, and you're just testing the same stuff over and over and over and over and over again, you're not providing any value to your experience. You're just reaffirming what you originally, concluded. And the people who do that, you can tell because they'll just sit there and they'll say the same things.
Yeah.
Oh, Verizon's congested. AT&T's congested. AT&T's got bad signal here. Like T-Mobile's got, whatever. They don't. I
don't know. You're absolutely right. My take on it is this: is if you're not moving around, if you're the barrier to entry is, are you at least paying for all three? You can't. I don't want you to be making a comparison. You're on Visible. I'm sorry. You're on Visible. You are not even included in the conversation first. Okay, if you're on Metro by T-Mobile or you're on Cricket, you don't get a chance to really comment. Okay, I'm sorry. That I'm not saying to try to say it to be bougie, but that's just what it is because you are networked differently than everybody else. So, and then on top of that, are you visiting other places? Like No Radio said, are you hitting towers that you never saw in your life?
These towers are 20 miles outside of town in a part of the county you never go to.
Right.
You don't know that Verizon's got there. You just assume they are, but you never went to find out. And that's what I say. And you got to do it. And you got to do it. Like I said, like for me, my tier is 300 miles every 2 days.
Right. Now here's the thing. I do drive more than most people, but I do hit different places all at random different times.
Yep. So you don't get to go to your favorite area and go, look how good this is. You just stuck somewhere and you have to find out.
I got YouTube videos where I literally know exactly what cell site I'm connected to, and before I get ready to go into a bad area, and I can show you what it looked like as soon as you hit the bad area. It's so, like as soon as you drive through, bam! All of a sudden, no matter who it is, you can see that the performance starts going down as soon as you go into that more congested area.
Mhm.
So
And
that's something different.
Well, and I noticed that narrative right away. So when I drove out to Colorado for a vacation, I'm sitting here testing all along I-80, runs all the way down west to effectively Longmont, where Stetson and those people live.
Yeah.
AT&T was phenomenal the entire way there. Was T-Mobile a bit faster once we got to the city? Yeah, but
Okay.
AT&T Uniform had the best coverage, most consistent downlink, most consistent uplink. But yet the common narrative for that area is that AT&T sucks.
There you go.
And I'm sitting here, I'm like, I'm in the middle of a cornfield at a rest stop getting 300 megs on AT&T, and I'm roaming on some regional carrier with T-Mobile. You cannot tell me that these two are the same.
No. Hey, look, here's the thing. It's always about who got to it first to be able to say the same mantra over and over and over again. Look,
Yep.
T-Mobile right now is going through the trying to change people's mindset right now. How do you end up getting to the place where you're giving away service for 3 months for free? You have to change people's mindset about your company because you are becoming something different.
Yep.
Well, and yeah,
I
they
mean,
planted that seed a long time ago, before
that,
before 5G was even on the table.
but
Yep.
that seed was always there because even for me, because I didn't choose T-Mobile over Sprint because I thought that T-Mobile didn't exist outside the city. And from time to time, I go home. I live in Washington D.C., but I gotta go back to North Carolina. I can't be without my phone. At least give me some semblance of coverage. T-Mobile had no coverage once I hit, 64. As soon as I came off of 95 and hit 64
Mhm.
going east, guess what? There's no coverage. There was nothing. So I couldn't rely on them as a company. Like, understand, I had a 2G phone before. Okay. I'm willing to deal with 30 miles. I'm not willing to deal with 300. I'm sorry. I'm willing to deal with a 30-mile gap where, 30, 40 miles, you ain't got no service. I can drive out. Worst case scenario, I throw a family member in the back of the car and wait for the signal to come back and then make my 911 phone call. But 300 miles, I can't do that. Can't do it.
Look, I just need Verizon to work in my barbershop in the middle of town. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Verizon
I know what
work
you're
in the
saying.
barbershop in the middle of town. Why should that even exist?
Hey,
But T-Mobile and AT&T trucking right along. I don't
that's
understand.
tough. That's tough.
And that's
Yeah,
what.
look, the Mr. Can you hear me now? Didn't go into that barbershop. That's why.
And
That's
and
what
and,
happened.
and the thing is, bro, it's like you wouldn't have even noticed that spot before because in the past nobody worked there, so you can't give anybody a point. So Verizon didn't need to work there because nobody else did either. So you couldn't call them out when nobody else worked.
Yeah, you just assumed that that was the black hole for all cell carriers. Like, oh,
Exactly. Like this
you
just
don't
must
work,
be the
you don't work. I guess we don't work here.
exactly. And that's what the narrative was. It was like, well, if Verizon don't work there, don't nobody work there. That was a narrative around here.
Yeah. Hey, look, I still
True
talk to
anymore.
people now that think that Verizon, Verizon's congestion is real in certain areas, but that's how that's their measuring stick. Is if
In my
Verizon doesn't
market,
work.
but see, in my market, right, Verizon's congestion issue was real, and it was real because it was a bunch of band 13 only sites. That's why it was real. Then when they finally decided in like 2019 to put band 66 through all the towers, all of a sudden Verizon was usable again.
But the
So
thing
it
is
wasn't.
you can't get away with that now because your competition is throwing everything, the whole spectrum portfolio up on the tower, and you can't get away with the band 13 towers no more.
Yeah, that's why I'm proud that Verizon put in 77 on my home tower 5 months ago, and it still isn't turned on. But
Mine's been up for a year. A year.
Oh God!
still ain't on.
It's still not on.
I'm proud that they did it though. I gotta give it to them. I'm like, bro, you went from band 13 and 5 only to everything. Amen.
What's up, Speed Tech? Greetings, sir.
Hey.
Greetings, my good man. Greetings.
So,
But no,
so
hey,
they did the works on the tower that's nearest to my office. They ripped everything out. They put new low band radios in, N77. They even put CBRS on there. They're doing the works where they need to.
Yeah.
But it's going to take time, and people need to be patient.
Oh yeah.
but here's the thing. Let me ask you this question: is your area ready for early clearance?
Dude, I would assume so because driving along the highway, I basically have to take a major highway,
Mm-hmm.
and there's cell sites all along the highway. North side of the highway, south side of the highway. You just pick them out. I drove from work in the afternoon. I had to go somewhere, so I was leaving around like 2:00. There's 4 separate tower crews putting up new Verizon equipment.
Yep.
On 4 separate tower sites.
Because this is what I speculated about my area, right? Because come on, I'm in Washington D.C. This is the PEA number 5. Okay, if New York is PEA number 1, we are damn near close to being important. And the fact that the Verizon map shows a section of the DC metro area down but outside the Beltway, I suspected that those antennas and C-band was already there. They just didn't fire them on. Like, I'm hearing from you, I'm hearing from No Radio. I think that it just comes down to areas that they got early clearance. And
Oh yeah.
my area is supposed to early clear by December. My area is supposed to early clear by December. So if your area is not one of those areas where it can get early clearance, I think that they just it's up there for decoration right now.
Oh, Keon.
What's up?
So so if you haven't noticed, all the times we've been talking over the last year or two, when I'm on my way home from work, I always enter a terrible Verizon patch. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
Now, did you notice today when we were talking and I was on my way home, it didn't happen?
Yeah.
Guess why it didn't happen?
Why?
I was on T-Mobile.
Yo,
I want you to think
know what?
about that.
I did think about that because I was like, I wasn't sure if you were heading home.
Bro, I guarantee you, almost everybody in the community that has the afternoon chats when I'm on my way home from work could about set a stopwatch to when I'm gonna have crappy coverage.
You start breaking up.
I was on T-Mobile the whole time and I didn't break up once. What's that tell you? Yeah, C-band's cool. But Verizon, we got coverage problems, homie. I'm like, you know what? Don't turn the C-band on. How about fix the coverage gaps? How about do what T-Mobile needed to do and already did?
Already, gents, I'm being summoned. I'm gonna get out of here.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, man. Thank you for coming through, man.
I want to get into a heated argument with No Radio at some point.
Oh,
don't know about what. Don't know about what, but something.
You make too much sense to argue with me.
Uh-oh. Hey. The radio's willing. Look, the radio's willing to have that smoke with you. It don't matter what it is.
You just got to say something that doesn't make any sense, and then we'll argue. You don't say anything that don't make any sense.
So all right. Next time I'll come on here, I'm gonna find the most absurd opinion about something, and I'm gonna play devil's advocate the entire time.
Hey, make sure it's tech related. That's all I ask.
All about the deception and lies.
Oh, deception and lies. Man. Hey, thank you for coming through, man.
For sure.
I only argue with people in fantasy land. So if you travel to fantasy land and find something to come back with, we can argue, buddy.
Alrighty, guys. Have a good night.
All right, we'll do, man. Thank you.
No cap detected with EM Tech. No cap.
None at all. None at all.
Cap.
But no, hey. Here's the thing. When you contacted me earlier today, you were on your way home, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we were talking about that other. And we were talking about that other subject about Kanye. But
and I drove through both Verizon dead zones that I usually hit. It's 2 of them.
You didn't drop out at all.
Didn't drop out because I was not on Verizon.
It didn't muffle at all either.
I wasn't on Verizon. That's why.
Wow.
Yeah. because T-Mobile and AT&T are on a tower in both of those places that Verizon isn't. I can do the same thing with AT&T. It will not drop, but Verizon will. And that is embarrassing.
Do you think, and I'm not going to hold you much longer, but do you think that Verizon's early on success is making them jaded now?
It is.
Where
That's why I'm saying that.
where those little spots where you're starting to see cracks in the armor, they're not really even trying to fill them in now.
Yeah. They've got cracks in the armor that they have neglected, and it's starting to show as the other two companies are improving.
Ugh.
And
That's gonna start hurting.
Like I said earlier, the mantra was, if Verizon don't work, then nothing does. Well, that's no longer true.
That's true.
And at this point, I can take you to at least 20 spots that I can get to within 30 minutes where Verizon's the only carrier that doesn't work. And that is embarrassing. Verizon should be ashamed that exists. And it's the argument that I've talked to Verizon about these locations. And I give them this, though. They were honest enough to tell me that, I think I told you before,
ain't happening.
That it don't. Yep, we know it don't work there, and it ain't gonna be no time soon that it does. At least they're honest. But you better not let Magenta Thong go over there and work. That's embarrassing.
Hey, look, here's my take on it. Right, is I think for T-Mobile, this was 5G was their reset moment. Right, they acquired Sprint. They get a chance to kind of really flex. Right, and now that you can actually show there's some differences and blemishes on the top dog.
Yep.
I think it gives people a different light looking at the major cell phone companies in the first place.
Look, all I'm saying is this: if I go to my local Verizon store, there's a certain employee that works there that would tell you flat out they have AT&T because Verizon don't work at their house.
Oh God,
and that's bad.
That's not good.
Now I'm pretty sure they're not telling everybody that, but
No.
I was talking to them from a technical aspect, and we got on that subject, and this certain person was like, "Yeah, I got an AT&T line because Verizon don't work in my house," and they've worked for Verizon for many years. They've been with Verizon for at least 10 years.
Wow.
They don't work at their house, and they sell it every day.
See. This is the reason why I said that the merger was the best thing for the nation, because this is the reason. Because Verizon and AT&T set up on their stools and didn't care. And then now you bring somebody in who actually cares.
Well, no, we can't say that. I can't say that. As much as I hate AT&T, I've said this many times. AT&T and T-Mobile and Sprint were behind Verizon. I believe AT&T took that very serious. And AT&T is a day and night network. That's why I kept saying the T-Mobile today is what AT&T was 4 years ago in my market as far as coverage.
Yeah.
So AT&T is making great strides to outdo Verizon. Verizon at this point is the laziest carrier, even though they supposedly spend the most money. But I think all that money was millimeter wave money. It wasn't coverage.
Well, I mean, understand, we've gone down that rabbit hole a whole lot.
Millimeter wave money.
Millimeter wave money, and when your competition is showing night and day differences in their network from just putting N41 up, what is the only thing you had?
All I'm saying is I shouldn't be able to ride around Greensboro, North Carolina, and count over 120 millimeter wave nodes, and then drive 15 minutes away and can't use Verizon.
That's true.
That's embarrassing. Yeah, we put 120, 130 millimeter wave nodes up, but there's no coverage 15 miles outside of town.
Ugh.
That doesn't make any sense.
No. Now let me ask you a question. Were you on your iPhone when you was on T-Mobile?
Yep.
And you didn't see any discernible differences with service?
What do you mean discernible difference?
Because I think we were talking about this before, where T-Mobile and iPhone don't like each other.
Well, N41 and iPhone don't like each other, in my opinion. But you know what? You know what though? It's probably mostly software. I don't think it's a hardware thing, which means it's probably fixable. And and like I said, Verizon's my daily driver, so I can't
Yeah.
give 100% answer about it. As far as okay, I get you like this. I just noticed from using the S21 Ultra for over a
Mhm.
year straight on T-Mobile and Verizon for over a year straight on the same device or whatever.
Mhm.
The Android likes in my area runs better on N41 than the iPhone does. And what I mean by that is the amount of time I stay connected to N41 is much longer on the actual Android. Now, with that being said, you know what I think it is?
What's
Reason
that?
why the iPhone doesn't stay connected? The iPhone is choosing to let go of N41. And what
Mm.
I'll give you an example, right? I could be sitting in the truck, doing my regular work duties, and look up and say, you know what, I'm gonna do a speed test. I've got the phone set up for the T-Mobile eSIM, and I look at it, and it's 5G with no UC, right?
Right.
I hit the speed test, and the device will go to like 20 megabits, and out of nowhere, the UC icon pops in, and bam, 800.
It
It what
blasts
it
into 800.
what it appears to be actually going on is the iPhone is choosing not to stay connected. Not that it can't. It's choosing not to. It may be a battery saving measurement. I don't know. We need to speak to somebody who knows better, but it may be
That
the
that
reason.
would that would that would make sense because you to for midband you need to be closer to the antenna to keep a signal, but on
Mm-hmm.
low band, like the 600, 700, 800 megahertz, you don't really have to try as hard.
Yep. I think it's choosing to let go. And then when it goes, oh, they need data, bam, give me that N41. That's what I think is actually happening.
I have literally watched people speed test, and I've seen it do that numbers of times where
I,
it will
yeah.
be, especially if it's the fresh speed test, it's not
Mhm.
like they haven't hit it 15 or 16 times. It's that first one out the break. It'll be like 5, 5, 5, 5, 45. Like, dang, where did
But
that
guess
come
what?
from?
But guess what happens with C-band on the iPhone?
What is that? What happens?
It tells you got C-band even when you don't.
Really?
If I drive by a C-band site, I get 5 miles away and not be on it. It'll still swear it's on ultra wideband, but I'm getting 5 megabits. It's not because C-band's bad. It's because there's some kind of glitch where the phone won't turn the UW logo off when it's using Verizon. I
Mm,
think I told you I drove for 20 miles one day where there is no C-band, and it told me I had ultra wideband the whole damn way.
yeah, I remember you talking about that one.
The phone is
But
glitched.
here's the thing. I've heard people say, like I heard people within our community say, "Hey, I got 7 miles from the site." I'm like, how did you get 7 miles from the site and
But
still
my
holding on
question is this
to?
though, that's cool and all, but what was your degradation of speed?
See, I don't think that they really know. Like, understand, this goes back to that
They're
original
trusting.
argument we had.
They're trusting the logo.
Right.
And I don't. I'm sorry, but if I'm 1 mile away from a C-band site and I have the logo, I shouldn't be getting 5 megabits.
That's true.
I should be probably at minimum getting 80, 90 if I'm on the edge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I
Well,
think
they
it's just,
said, look, the standard for 5G, they said edge cell edge at least 100 megabits per second, at least.
oh yeah, but we know all about how standards don't mean.
That's true.
All I'm saying is the iPhone has a glitch. It reports ultra wideband when there is no ultra wideband, and it'll tell you there's no ultra capacity when there in fact is. It's doing the opposite. There's ultra capacity, but it's chosen to let go and only grab it when in use. That's what I've seen.
Mm,
That's what I've noticed. That's what my observation has been in my iPhone journey. That's what I've observed. And I've observed it, and I can repeat it and replicate it over and over and over. Oh, there's no UC here. Speed test. Oh, there goes UC out of nowhere all day long.
dang, I wish I had an iPhone. I would
That's
have
what it
tested
does.
that. I would have tested that.
Yeah. But and like I said, and if that's a bad battery saving measurement, shit, I'm all for it. Sounds good to me. Sounds fine
Right.
to me. if that's what it is. If it's going, hey, that N41 is like at negative 110 right now, I might not want to hold that and just burn the battery up. Let me just let it go, and if he needs data, we'll pull it. Otherwise, we'll leave it alone. That makes sense to me. I can wholeheartedly agree if that's what Apple's approach is. I agree with it. I'm all for it.
Mm. I just me personally, I hear that mantra so many times now because
Mhm.
I ask people like just my conversations and people see my YouTube channel in my car and we start talking about it and people tell me all the break, hey, I'm on T-Mobile but I get bad service
Let me ask this:
but it's all iPhones.
has millimeter wave improved for you on the Android? As it has for me.
It has, yeah,
It
it
has
has.
immensely improved. And when I first went to a millimeter wave device, I had to damn near sit there in airplane mode the phone 20 times to get millimeter wave. Now my
Oh,
Android
it
device,
let go. It
it,
does let go now. It
it,
does let
it,
go.
it picks up millimeter wave. It's just as easy as the iPhone does now. It's
Yeah.
changed. So I don't know if it was Samsung needed to fix something or if it was Verizon needed to configure something. But I almost don't think we can make the millimeter wave argument for an iPhone anymore because it looks like they've cleared that up on the Android side of the game.
I, I always thought it might have been a software problem because
Oh, I was
as
sure it was. I was sure it
at early days, like my first the first phone that I could do millimeter wave on was the Fold 2.
was.
So
Mm-hmm.
I drove over to a millimeter wave node site with my Verizon sim in, and it would be like barely will connect. I'm
Right
so
in
close
front
to
of it.
this thing.
Yep.
I'm so close to this thing.
Spit on it.
I could damn near read the serial number off the damn off the millimeter wave site,
I had the
and
same.
it still wouldn't connect. Now, shoot, I could literally go down a block, and if the block opens up to
Mhm.
a millimeter wave, it wants to go. Hey, it's over. I'm over here. Quick!
And who
Walked
knows?
away.
They might have had like a preset threshold for signal level and just let go after that. And then it would hesitate to grab back because same thing. Millimeter wave is reaching further and further, even on the Androids. Oh, I got a tower right now. I can go like 2,500 feet away from it and still be on millimeter wave with an Android and the iPhone.
I could tell you this. So on Verizon, I've noticed that our the millimeter wave threshold for letting go is 98 negative 98
Eh,
dB.
Okay, I have to.
So so as I was driving around, I knew where the node was, and I would be like, all right. So if I know where the node is and I can see it hand off to it, then I'll be like, all right. So what's the signal level? Signal level? Signal level? It will be at negative 80, negative 90, negative 98. Let go. So it's roughly about 90 to 90 between 90 and 100,
Mhm.
where it will say, hey, I'm willing to play with this up to a certain point, but then I'm not going to touch it no more.
Yeah, I think they might have raised that, whatever that threshold is. I think it might have used to be lower on the Samsung side because it's definitely a day. Remember, like I told you, man, were you with me that day when I literally got in my boom on my truck and got up higher in front of the thing with my Android
Yes,
to get a speed test?
yes.
When I got up higher in front of it, I was getting like 4 gig down and I was on the ground. I could barely get 2,300. Well, now it
Yeah.
don't matter where I'm at. I'm still getting the 4 gig with the same exact phone.
Hey,
So
and that's good because
that's changed.
yeah, I think that it's always been a software problem for Android phones where it was just like, hey, if you don't got perfect signal, we're not going to connect to it. But I think it comes down to a battery problem too. Because remember, when you're on millimeter wave, your phone damn near heats up like an oven.
Hey, I hate to give iPhone praise, but the 13 don't.
Mm,
At least not mine.
well, now,
It don't even
hey,
it don't even get warm, and I hate Apple, and it don't even get warm on millimeter wave, dog. Not mine. Maybe mine's special. Maybe mine got the special, special cooling system in it. The Apple snuck in because they knew I was an Apple hater.
hold on. So did you upgrade? You upgraded to the 14, right?
No, I'm on the 13 Pro Max too.
Oh,
I don't I don't see anything tangible on the 14 that I would care about.
I thought you might have upgraded, man.
Remember, right? Remember, the only reason why I even bought an iPhone was there's only two reasons why I bought an iPhone, right? It was
Uh-huh.
so I could test the other side. That way, when I speak about it, I'm speaking from experience. That was the first reason. And the second reason is there was nothing exciting in any other new Androids for me to buy another Android at this point.
That's true.
So at this point, the iPhone 14 doesn't have anything tangible for me that I care about. Maybe the 15 will stir my senses with a USB-C port.
You'll have USB-C, sir.
But I really need multitasking. I don't care. You know what? I'll keep Lightning. Give me multitasking instead. How about that, Apple?
That'll never happen because then guess what? Nobody will buy iPad. Imagine an iPhone with the ability to have two different apps running at the same time on the screen. That is blasphemy, sir.
I'm just saying they want to get Android users excited. That's what they got to do.
Hey, look, if they took that Apple, if you want to copy a feature that's used by all Android users, that multi-screen, man,
you might end up with 90% market share.
Yes, you will have 90% market share overnight.
You remove all the barriers at that point.
Understand something? I literally run multiple apps on my phone at the same time. People look at my phone and go, "Is that a phone?" Like, yeah. Like, no radio. I literally, let me tell you, I have the service menu at the same time running next to the Uber app while I'm driving around because I'm looking at the network as I'm driving around. I'm looking at, so what am I connected to? I'm connected to this band. I'm connected to that band. It's showing me in real time that it's switching. I'm like, dang, I thought that it might have been this.
And I can validate another claim. Since we're talking about signal levels and switching, I can validate another claim that Verizon made. In my market, I always say my market because I don't want to claim somebody else's how it's going to be. But in my market, yes, C-band does in fact have about the same exact signal level as band 66. It absolutely does. Absolutely does. This is a fact.
That's good.
If you're in front of a tower and you got C-band and 66, they're usually within a few dB of each other. So
that's good.
That was no cap detected on Verizon there, guys. So,
hey.
Once C-band is fully deployed, it will stay connected as much as 66 does, and that is great. That's amazing.
That's what's up.
Which brings you to my next thing, Kia. We need you to since you got the true field test going on up there, I need you to start comparing the band 66 on T-Mobile signal level to the N41 and tell me what your findings are.
You know what? I'm gonna have to do that. Yeah.
Tell me what your findings are. Are you seeing weaker N41, or are you seeing about the same or stronger? I just see what you see. They're in the same frequency range, but whatever the power limit they were given for it is going to influence that.
You know what? Here's the thing. Let me tell you. Now I haven't done that, but I will say this. T-Mobile can damn near get rid of all of 66 and run their network on 41. If it's NR or LTE.
Yeah, because you've got the coverage up there. You've got the density.
So that's the thing. That's something I noticed is that a lot of times, like especially with them having recently been rejiggering with their network of late, there was moments in time where I was just on N41 for like blocks and blocks and blocks.
Yeah, until you hit one of them tunnels in DC.
And then I hit a tunnel. Or I hit something weird, and then all of a sudden it drops back down to like band 2 or something. But I've literally seen it. But yeah, I've literally seen it be on N41 handoff, and it was like 20 megahertz of N4 band 41.
Yeah, in reality, band 2, 66, and 41 should if they're running relatively similar power levels, they should be about the same. All three should be about the same. So if you're falling off of 41 onto band 2, that just tells you the 41 ain't reaching as far as the band 2 is.
Yeah, but that's because I hit those tunnels. But I've seen 66 let go and go to band 2 when I hit a tunnel too. So it's difficult to really say is band 41 not reaching as far. I haven't seen any power restrictions at all. Like the performance on 41 is gotten better. Even the upload, my upload has gotten better too.
Yeah, if you come to Greensboro, you cannot escape band 41. Like you will not disconnect. I don't care where you go. You'll be on it all day long. I don't care where you go. Even when you start getting in the rural, you'll be on it pretty much all day long. And until you hit a tower that doesn't have it. And I know a particular tower that doesn't have it, but guess what? That tower don't need it for two reasons. There ain't no population where that tower's at. The tower's getting 300 down without N41. So
oh wow,
because there's nobody on it. So I mean, it's like if T-Mobile throws N41 on that tower, it's just them basically doing a fucking victory lap at that point. It's not really helping anything. It's not helping.
Basically, what you're doing is you're whistling through the graveyard at that point. You're like, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, bro, got 66, 2, and 71 and 12, and I'm getting 297. Okay, yeah, you could put in 41, but why would you?
I mean, here's the thing: you would do that just to go ahead and complete the coverage. That way, when you decide to go full standalone,
but it would be
don't
last.
have any problems.
But it would be last.
but that's what I'm saying is I don't. Everybody
80 over there, 90 by itself.
Yeah,
that's useful.
But here's the thing: everybody in our community kept saying like, "Well, there's restrictions, there's this, there's that going on with N41 or Band 41, either one, Band 41, N41." But Sprint ran 41 on their network solely. Like, I don't think people quite understand. Like, Sprint for years ran on LTE 3 carriers of 41.
Yeah, the rural,
and that's all you got.
Yeah, if you go out to Alamance County and you're in the area that's called Snow Camp, Sprint had 3 carrier N41 out there, and that is all you got. Exactly like you're talking about. You wouldn't even get band 26 and 25. It would just be all N41.
But see,
so I do know places like that.
But that was something I never quite understood was, I kept hearing, there's power restrictions of this and power restrictions of that. And I don't really think N41 or Band 41 is power restricted as much as we say it, because here's the thing. If it was power restricted, when I'm at negative 110 and I'm still able to get 20 megabits up on just 41, is it power restricted?
Well, here's the thing, though. The power restrictions don't mean anything in a dense network. So who cares?
That's true.
Like I told you 100 times before, I don't want C-band to reach 3 miles. I'd rather you put another damn tower.
And they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna necessarily do that in the sense of being in the city. But when you're out in rural area, yeah, they're gonna like you said, they're gonna use 71 as the upload, and they're gonna push mid-band as far as they possibly can go with beamforming.
Yeah.
They're gonna be like, 80% of all the upload is gonna download is gonna be going out. We don't care about it coming back.
Yeah, but if you live in a market like where I'm at, where it's very rural, guess what? They're gonna have so many people saying, "Hey, I would get your service if you had home internet." They're gonna end up putting 41 out there anyway. Yeah. And they're not gonna try to stretch it because they're going to. So it's all about where you live.
I mean, initially you can grow your footprint a whole lot faster.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's the whole idea. I mean, that's kind of what T-Mobile's doing right now, is that they're pushing their footprint so far because, like you said, they're beaming 71 at miles and miles and miles, so that person can see the icon pop up, right?
Yeah.
But then once they get you as a customer, then they start filling in the gaps. Which I'm going home for Christmas, and I'm eager to see the difference, because I feel like there's a difference.
We're gonna have to arrange something, bro. There's I'll have to arrange something, man. Maybe chill somewhere, meet a little somewhere.
Yeah, probably, yeah. Hey, look, I'm just eager. I am eager to see if there's a difference, man.
What I want to see you do is I want to see you get on that long road between Wake County and Johnson County.
Ooh.
Get on that road.
Man, you talking about Death Valley at that point, man. God,
that is a dead, bro. That highway is so dead,
man.
Bro, I was following one of my friends one night, and this fool was running like 160 that whole span. And then because the police, the sheriff, the state troopers don't even go out there. Mind you, this is like 2008 or something. They probably go out there now.
Oh no, they go out there just because they're like, this is speeding country over there, yo.
Back then you could just put the car up at 120 mile an hour and stick to cruise control.
Yeah.
You don't even need a radar antenna because ain't nobody out there but you and Jesus.
Mm. And that's who we're gonna be when you get an accident, you and Jesus.
And one truck stop. Bro, we legit made it from Chatham County to Johnston County in like less than an hour.
Yeah, wow.
Do you realize
Wow.
how far that is?
Do you realize how fast you had to go to do that?
Hey, I wasn't the one driving it. My buddy was the one doing it. It was gonna
Mm.
be his ticket.
Hey, I'm just sitting here benefiting from this speed. I buckled up twice, but I
Oh,
still.
man. Yo, that shit.
But yo, hey, but that's the thing, man. If the reports are being true, so I listen to Tyrone and they're saying like, yo, they pretty much finished some of their rollout and decommissioning. Okay, if they finish their decommissioning of sites and they have the Sprint keep sites on air, when I go back home, I should never see 25 at all. It should be band 2
Oh
or
yeah.
N25.
Well, I'm going ahead and tell you, in my market, the band 2 they swallowed that up last year. We went from 15 to 20 megahertz consistent everywhere on the band 2 here. There ain't no band.
Wow.
Yeah, there ain't no band 26 or whatever. It's been gone.
I mean, because that when I went home last year, November-ish this time last year during Thanksgiving, I literally was connected on my phone like band 25 and 26.
Yep.
So if I go back home and I don't see no band 25 or 26, that means that all those sites got touched.
Oh yeah, let's say it's already done here. I'll put it like this, bro. Within 30 days after the merger, all the Sprint sites were already working, and they were already showing up as T-Mobile, but it was still separate. It was still showing up as band 26, but it was saying T-Mobile already. By the end of the year, it was already all T-Mobile 20 megahertz. That was
Wow.
how they did it so fast here it'll make your head spin.
I can tell you this. So during the merger for me, when I went back home, and this is like, after COVID kind of died down a little bit, when I hit Eastern North Carolina, I was roaming on Sprint.
Yep.
So Sprint, the Sprint identification was still popping up in Cell Mapper, and even on my phone, it was saying I was roaming, but I was roaming on Sprint.
Yep.
And then once I, hit an area where, let's say, T-Mobile was dabbling in and moving and shaking, it switched back over to T-Mobile. So I was seeing that switching back and forth a lot between Sprint and T-Mobile when I was home. I'm eager to see what's going to happen when I get back.
It should be gone.
It's probably going to be gone.
It should be, because like I said, here it's gone. There ain't no Sprint. It's all 20 megahertz band 2, all T-Mobile. There is no Sprint. There's no 25 or 26.
Ooh.
No, it's been, like I said, been gone. Probably early last year it was gone.
God.
So we went to 20 megahertz everywhere on band 2 here.
Hey, look, man. I'm me personally, like, the whole 5G has been fun to track and find out what's really good, because I'm been trying to get my parents off of US Cellular, and I'm telling you, yo, if I go in my little sleepy town and I get the full complement, oh no, I'm gonna drag my father into T-Mobile the next day.
He's already walking around with 2 phones now.
Yeah, I'm gonna drag him in there. Yo, he has 2 more phones from me that they have it activated. They have my wife's Fold 2 and my Note 10 5G on T-Mobile, and they still ain't doing nothing with it. Black people time, bro. Black people time.
Oh Lord, that's CPL, CPT.
Yes.
Color people late.
I'm going to drag them. I'm telling you, man. If I go down there and I stand in front of my grandma's front door and I get anything more than 50 megabits per second, I'm dragging them. I'm telling you, that day. I don't care. Look, I don't care about opening presents or nothing. Y'all getting off US Cellular. This is ridiculous. I'm dragging them. I'm like kicking and screaming. I don't care what. I don't care what you say. You're coming off.
Well, for the only person I've ever known who had U.S. Cellular, the highest speed I ever saw was 1 megabit per second.
Oh Lord.
And I think that was U.S. Cellular's band. It's whatever they had. I think it was 800 megahertz.
They just need to give up the ghost.
They had
Give up
1
the ghost.
megabit per second. And back then, Verizon still hadn't rolled out LTE yet on band 13. It was just band 5, and I was getting like maybe
God.
15 back then. Peak and average was like 5 or 6 back then.
Hey, look, for another time, we'll talk about U.S. Cellular, but hey, look,
We
let me
need to
go
do a
ahead.
whole evening dedicated to U.S.
Just the U.S. Cellular.
We're talking. We need to look for articles and talk about their build out.
Oh, you talking about U.S. Cellular's fast 3G? Is that what you talking about?
Oh, absolutely, bro. Hey, don't even get me started on they damn CDMA plus.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, just
Yo, hey, look, man. I thank you for riding with me, man. This is the longest I've done a podcast tonight, man. Shoot, 2 hours and 50 minutes in.
yeah, you got a long stroke it, dog.
Hey, you got to enjoy the journey.
Yes, sir.
But hey, thank you for riding, man. If anybody else is out there and y'all still sticking with us this long, you know, you can join the conversation. I'm thinking about dropping the prices on my Patreon so I can get more people in, man.
Are we ready for a giveaway on the channel yet, man?
Not yet.
You sure? Are you sure?
Hey, look. Understand my New York trip. My New York trip got me people looking my way, but it hasn't gotten the channel where it needs to be.
Well, I'll issue an offer myself. Okay, guys.
Uh-oh.
First things first. We need to get this video to at least 100 views within the next 2 weeks. If we get the video to at least 100 views, we're going to start small with the giveaway games. Okay, guys? If we get the video to at least 100 views within 14 days, whoever pins the comment pink phone first, whoever pins it first, we'll pin it. Whoever does it first now, mind you, you can go ahead and put pink song in there right now, but if this video don't get 100 views, the video gets 100 views, I'm giving away a $25 gift card.
$25 gift card?
Yeah, we're going to start small with it, brother. I'm giving away a $25 gift card to the first person to put pink song if we meet 100 views.
I'll match it, so you don't got to go all 25 in by yourself. Half and half. I'll go half, you go half.
I got a $25 gift card with your name. All right,
oh,
so
man.
you do the first pink song, I'll do the second one. How about that?
All right. Most definitely. I'll do that. Hey, No Radio, thank you for riding with me again, man. We gotta get more people in here so we can have some more controversy, dog. Look, EM said he wants to argue with you, but he don't know what.
Because he makes too much sense. Tell him to go get stupid and come back, and then we can argue.
Oh no. But
he gonna have to pretend. Look, he already said he gonna have to pretend to be stupid just to argue with him. That's insane.
He said devil's advocate. He didn't say stupid. He
That's
said
the same difference.
advocate.
I'm gonna argue a point I don't believe in, just so I can argue with you.
Politicians do that every day.
The problem is he let me know ahead of time, so I'm gonna just come with a totally equally opposite ridiculous statement to go.
Oh gosh.
He'll be Kanye. I'll be Elon. We can do it.
Oh God. Yo, that would be funny. Hey, argue their individual point.
Maybe we got a new segment coming upon us. I'm gonna do because I'm gonna be the 5G conspiracy guy, and I need a naysayer.
Oh,
who wants to battle?
Man, yo, that's what's up. No Radio. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank y'all for watching. And let's see, where's my cursor at? And everyone, hit me up in the comments below if you have anything that's on your mind. And take a crack at my Patreon. I'm thinking about dropping the rate so I can bring more people in. So that's just what I'm trying to do. Thank y'all for watching. God bless you and good night.
Good night.